again. Enjoy the outfit, enjoy the pose. Let's give it up one more time for our 2025 Pokemon Go World Champion, Beelzeboy!
Hello， 大家好，咁啊，準備睇最後決賽啦。咁啊，啱啱打完 Pokémon Go 嘅決賽啦，所以而家就準備進入 World Champ TCG， 調轉入 TCG World Champ 嘅決賽啦。咁啊，要定大家嘅心魂戚友起身睇決賽啦。定音畫面有冇問題啊，觀眾們？應該 OK 嘅，我就唔聽聲音可以。
One of my favorite, if not my favorite, grand finals in series to date. So much competitiveness between these two players, but the dominance was always on Beelzeboy's side. Haruman, though, he didn't make it easy. He forced it all the way to that final 5th game.
And Beelzeboy, you're going to see this Pokemon often in these highlights. Galarian Moltres, he started out the battle using every Protect Shield on it for 3 straight battles. That was his key to victory and a huge adjustment to sit the Shadow Annihilate. Yes, Shadow Annihilate is so strong against Patamon's team, but he tried that yesterday. It didn't work. He went home, he made a new strategy. That new strategy included Shadow Steelix and a lot more Lapras. How flexible was he playing with that Lapras, with that Galarian Moltres, and just able to overwhelm Patamon with his team composition advantage?
Yeah, we talked about the Shadow Annihilate, but he only brought it into one game. One game is all he needed, though, because one game is what separated these two fierce competitors. This final game, this final Ice Beam is what sealed the deal. Look at his face. He knows it. He knows he's just one charge attack away from victory here. Look at the shock as well as he is going to throw that sparkling aria. What two fierce competitors. And Patamon, what an incredible season is for him. You know, in some ways, he might be disappointed, but there's no shame in the tournament and the season he's had this year. One of the best season runs here, and to be only taken out by Beelzeboy in this fierce tournament of competitors.
And look at Patamon's run, able to take out Corliss, which remember, he was a top 4 trainer at the World Championships as well. Able to take out Maxi, that got into the top 8, I believe. Take out Lyle's Jeff, who also got into the top 8. And then take out your world champion Beelzeboy yesterday. And then the bracket reset, of course, Beelzeboy wins that first one 3-1. And when it seemed all the momentum was on the side of Beelzeboy, Paddleman battled back, and he was 1 game away from winning it all.
13 games. 13 games between these two competitors, going the absolute distance here, and Beelzeboy is going to lock in that first place finish. Patamon gets that second place. Definitely not the last you'll hear of him. And LND's Hard Jeff, the first time making day number 2, this top cut, and now his first trophy at a world championship.
應該要等佢頒埋獎先會開始 TCG 嘅決賽。TCG 應該會播晒3場嘅決賽，會有呢個 Unia 開始打起，咁啊打到 Master， 所以就都有3場比賽睇，咁大家耐心等多陣啦，等佢頒埋獎就開始睇比賽啦。
And then Master Mahir as well. Incredible performances from all of our top talent in Pokemon Go.
2 of 2 in top 8 from India. A region to be recognized, a region to be feared in future World Championships. And of course, our prizes. Not only do you get the glory, the trophy, you get prizes, you get packs, you get it all.
And look at what you get with these prizes. We just saw those trainers that are taking home those large sums. Congratulations to all of them. Congratulations to all the competitors in Pokemon Go that were able to qualify this season. It was the first season with championship points, and it was an amazing one.
Wow. What a World Championships, Butters. You know, we had so many people that we were watching out for, players to look at, multiple players with multiple titles, both regionally and internationally. 3 previous world champions also battling it out on the stage. But there can only be one, and there can only be one player to do it all. It's going to be Beelzeboy, your new world champion.
I am Beelzeboy. What a moment from this world champion. What a grand finals. You said it before. This was our first bracket set since our first ever world championships in 2022. And Beelzeboy is repeating the feat that Dancing Rob did, winning it all from that loser's side of the bracket. He had the team composition. He had the determination. And I feel like he embodies the Pokemon spirit. He has such positive energy, determination, and just the want to put on a show, have fun. And that attitude is what brought him to the biggest stage at the first time in an arena, and that's what brought him the first place trophy.
Let's crown our champions here. Anna's on the stage to hand over their beautiful trophies.
Let's cheer on our finalists and our 2025 Pokemon World Champion. Congratulations to our finalists from Spain, Pato Man! And now it's time for a roaring round of applause for our 2025 Pokemon Go World Champion, Beelzeboy! Congratulations once more to both our finalists and our world champion. Next up, we have the Pokemon trading card game with all divisions, juniors, seniors, and
係
masters.
未開始啦，而家啱啱係頒呢個高嘅獎項嘅，啱啱打完 Pokémon Go 嘅決賽，所以準備 TCG 嘅比賽啦。佢哋咁啊打完一個項目會即刻頒獎先，而家準備 TCG。大家唔好走開，叫定 friend 一齊嚟睇啦。
Well, we've crowned champions in 2 games, and now we're moving on to the Pokemon trading card game, where our juniors, seniors, and masters will battle it out to see who can become the very best. Welcome in. My name is Ethan Heggie. Freya Pierce is alongside me, and what an honor this is. We are going to see excellent star-studded players battle it out here in the arena.
Not just non-affiliate players, of course, but for us, for the first time ever, our TCG finals cast in this awesome arena. Everyone, a round of applause for the trading card game finalists.
Absolutely. We have 3 different storylines to showcase. Starting off with our juniors division players, it will be an international battle. We will have Jose Cruz, a decorated US player, up against a junior from Japan, Yuya Okita. This is going to be an absolutely epic battle between our 2 competitors.
2 titans of the game have been playing for such a long time in their respective divisions, and of course representing almost like the 2 big forces in the Pokemon trading card game, Japan versus the United States. Who is going to come out on top today?
We will have to see as things build up. This will be a best-of-3 match between both players. Battled through the first day of competition, Swiss rounds, played their final round of Swiss on day 2, and then had to treacher through a very difficult path. Asymmetric top cut, top 8, top 4, and are now here one match away from becoming a Pokemon trading card game world champion.
Yeah, and we've talked so many times before about how this is really the moment for the juniors and seniors to sign. Normally, we're only featuring the Masters players, but now if you make it to Championship Sunday, it doesn't matter what age division you're in, you get to show the world just how good you really are.
You have to feel for these players here. Don't get a lot of opportunities to play on the big stage, and what a large stage this is. The arena filled up after we've crowned our Pokemon Unite and Pokemon Go champions. If you're in that spot, you know, there's a lot riding on the line. I'm sure you're excited, but you've got to be feeling just a little bit nervous, no matter how confident you are going into this final match.
I'm feeling secondhand nervousness just like standing here, and I'm not even playing, so I can't imagine how our juniors are feeling right now.
Are getting ready. We are almost set to get into this first matchup. It will be Dragapult EX up against Raging Bolt. So this seems to be the continuing story of
決賽 Junior 係多龍打呢個猛雷鼓，好 classic 嘅對決啦。準備 TCG 冇錯，準備緊個場地啊。跟住後面嘅工作人員係咁執張台啦。
Placing the damage on the bench with the Phantom Dive, you're setting up multiple prize turns, two very different play styles of deck that we're going to see in this junior finals.
We'll get into the nitty-gritty bit of it once these players are sat down at the table. Excited to see how things play out at this point. This is every player's dream in the Pokemon TCG. You battle through a one-per-year tournament. You only get one shot at the World Championships. You have to play through the entire season through local events, regional, international championships, battle it out for those championship points, and then the whole slate sort of resets going into Worlds. There's no day 1, day 2 system anymore. Everybody is on an even playing field to start out the year, and they have just as good of a shot as anybody does to become a world champion. These players are no exceptions.
Yeah, and what a place to do it as well. 8 years ago, when we were last here in this very convention center for the 2017 World Championships, we played on the stage in the hall, but now we are here in the arena to crown our 3 champions. And what a better, I can't imagine a better stage to do it on. Imagine winning here, maybe the most hype moment of your entire life, let alone just in your Pokemon trading card game career.
As mentioned, these players had a treacherous journey to get here as we look at the bracket for our top cut. Japan
Junior 嘅走線，咁啊，日本嘅選手。對呢個 US 嘅選手，哇！我想講咧，佢嗰個深色代表出線咧，因為有啲 fake 啊。我反而覺得有時候會睇落咗，我第一眼以為咧係白色係出局咯，即係藍色嗰個先係出線，因為尤其是特別佢 final 嗰兩格係藍色嘅，所以啊係咪藍色嘅就出線咧？對翻個名唔係喎，我上一格係白色嘅先係出線，有啲棘啊！佢呢個顏色嘅顯示，唔知大家第一眼睇呢個表嘅時候有冇呢個感覺？
We'll have to see if that trend continues or if these 2 players on an absolute tear through the bracket are going to give each other a run for their money.
If there's ever going to be a 2-1, I imagine it's got to be in the finals, especially as you rightly pointed out, given what a clean sweep it was up until this point for both these players.
So who will emerge victorious? Will it be the hard-hitting power of Raging Bolt EX on and off the forefront of the meta since its release, or will it be the disruptive and explosive pressure late in the game that Dragapult EX can provide? 2 very different strategies. We'll see which one comes out on top.
Yeah, and an interesting thing we were just talking about before coming up here, Jose is no stranger to the Raging Bolt deck, having played it himself at previous tournaments and done very, very well with it, now kind of going up against what he had success with before, so that's going to add an interesting interplay as well.
You know, it's a little bit of betrayal in a sense. This is your partner Pokemon. You were an international champion with it. And now, for the biggest accomplishment, the biggest match in your career, you have to go up against your old friend, somebody who has helped you so much in your trading card game journey. It's now essentially the final boss for Jose to take down if he wants to become a champion this weekend.
It is something a little bit poetic in that, isn't there, you could say, but I cannot wait to see which of these 2 comes up on top for these 2 players. The biggest match of their life so far, no doubt about that.
Let's not forget what's on the line for these players. The world champion gets so much prestige and is immortalized in the history of the Pokemon trading card game. There's of course the prize money, and let's not forget the Pikachu trophy, and more so for our trading card game fans, that exclusive World Championship playmat. That's gotta be about as big of a flex as possible.
Like, just imagine going to your local League Challenger League Cup and just slamming that down. Your opponent just goes, oh, that's what I'm up against. I'm up against champion material. That's got to send some nerves across, I imagine.
Intimidating indeed. These players waiting backstage, anxiously awaiting their appearance on the arena. Their first players ever to come out for the Pokemon TCG will be playing a 75-minute best-of-3 match. The player who can win 2 out of the 3 games will be emerged victorious. The anticipation is building. Things are going to get exciting.
So, between these 2 players, who do you think is going to take down the title today, in your opinion?
It's really hard to tell. You've got the experience of Jose. He's, I would say, the more decorated player, very much used to playing in these large regional and international events. He has, I think, over 5 top cuts just alone this season of the 8 or 9 regional championships he's attended. On the other hand, Yuya has not played in a whole lot of events, and that's really the difference between the systems. The Japanese players do not get that high volume of regional championships and internationals to attend, so a lot of the time it really comes down to those small appearances. Those fields, however, are so much larger, and getting top 4 to Champions League, that's no slouch of an accomplishment at all. We'll see if he can take that momentum and experience at these big tournaments and convert that into potentially a World Championship title.
Absolutely. And then for me, I'm going to give it to you, purely on deck advantage. I mean, the Dragapult versus Raging-Bolt matchup can go one way or the other, but generally speaking, if you're able to take a one-hit knockout on a Dragapult EX and you can carry that on, you're pretty good to go. It's going to take a few tricky moves, a counter catcher and the like, to really play around that. But for me, at least, I'm giving it to Yuya.
Very interested to see how some of these tech cards come into effect. Again, we'll wait for those players to have their headphones on so we don't foil any of the fun for our competitors. You at home and in the arena, we'll be taking you guys all through the action, showcasing how the Pokemon TCG is played out. See how, some of these key cards, mainly those A specs go into play, right? We've got the very powerful Prime Catcher compared to something of a little bit more unusual aspect. Not a very popular card months ago, that Neo Upper Energy, very useful for that Dragapult EX to attack.
Yeah, absolutely. Neo Upper Energy being basically the A-spec that was the most dismissed when it came out, thinking, hold on, I can bring something up from the bench. Why would I just want a card that lets me have 2 energies of any color? As it turns out, being able to one attachment power for Dragapult EX's Phantom Dive, pretty good and worthwhile.
There's so many dynamics on the table between both of these players. You gotta feel for both of them in this spot, right? You worked all the way through to top cut. Nobody wants to go home at a 2nd place finish. I'm interested to see, how some of these early pressure nerves, and those nerves are going to be inevitable in a space like this, especially when you're in front of such a large crowd here at the arena.
Yeah, and this is not something any TCG player has experienced before to the same level. I mean, obviously we get some very big crowds for the juniors, seniors, and the Masters Division finalists in our previous finals at the major events around the world. But something like this, we have never, ever borne witness to this before, and I am so hyped to be here, I'm not going to lie.
Curious to see, how that dynamic plays out as well between some of the more supporting key Pokemon. Things like Badoo has taken over the format. He may be small, he may not have a lot of HP, but boy, is that Itchy Pollen an absolute annoyance to deal with.
Yeah, but I think the arena's heard enough from us. Let's throw it over to the stage to introduce our junior finalists.
OK， 終於開波啦！準備嚟了。今年佢個台都幾有 feel 喎，佢個台好有呢個真係即道館對戰嗰個 feel 喎，整得幾靚喎，今年個台。唔係會做啲訪問嘅咩？極速入座，通常都會訪問下選手啲比賽前感受啊，點樣嗰啲，又會直接入座。但係小朋友唔問咁多啦，就係大人先問。
Congratulations to our
大家都有大家嘅吉祥物啊！
And now it's time to watch them play. Casters, take us away.
Once again, it all comes down to this. Staring off
多龍同呢個索羅，
in between these
用
players.
多龍嗰個吉祥物係咪自己就用多龍 deck 啊？但係另外嗰個好似係猛雷古 deck 喎，索羅係唔喺猛雷古 deck 入邊嘅咩？
And you gotta ask the other way here. We got any Dreepy fan? Who loves Dreepy out here? Come on, you gotta give it up for Dreepy, right? So we've heard a little bit about the players. We've heard about their friends supporting them. There's some other friends out in the crowd supporting them as well. Let's throw it to Chip and hear for some of these player supporters.
Here with Jose's family and Yuya's family here in the venue, and they are so excited to see their children up there competing. I'll start with you, Ram. Jose's got some
變
experience.
咗唔係訪問，算係訪問家人啊！
A couple seasons ago. How do you think he'll rise to the occasion here on the stage? How do you think he's feeling in this moment right now?
I'm sure he's a little nervous, but he's used to the big stage. He practices a lot, so I think he's ready to go.
And now over to Yuya's family. I'll ask you, Mom, the journey for your family to get to this point. What does it mean to now see your son up on this stage?
ご家族として長い道を渡ってきたと、ここまでたどり着くまでに長い道を通ってきたと思うんですが、お息子さんが舞台に登ってどういうお気持ちですか？
とても嬉しい気持ちです。私もとても緊張しています。
係咪佢細佬定阿哥咧？勁開心攞嘢飲，哇！喺度對鏡頭揮手。
Yuya's brother, I'm sure you both practiced a lot together leading to this tournament. Do you think he's ready for this moment?
お兄さんもたくさん準備してできたと思うんですけど、準備はしっかりできてると思いますか？
完璧です。
Yep, he's doing well and he's ready.
All right, love to hear from these family members who I'm sure are rooting on these players. I'm sure everyone in the crowd is going to be ready to root on these players as well. Let's kick off our junior final match.
I think our crowd is ready. I think our players are ready, and the families are as well. Now all that's left is for these competitors to shuffle up and get ready to play some Pokémon TCG. Dragapult EX, piloted by Jose Cruz, paired with that Dusknoir and its Curse Blast ability, going up against one of the strongest Dragon-type Pokemon in the format, Raging Bolt EX, piloted by Yuya.
Now, we've asked, or rather, we've been between ourselves who we think is going to win. We've asked about support for the Pokemon, but for our players, let's ask everyone in the arena, if you're backing Yuya to win, make some noise!
Got some solid support. If you think Jose's got what it takes, let me hear you scream! Got about a 50-50 split. That's what I like to see. You know, we call that an even matchup here.
喺度叫緊現場嘅觀眾撐邊邊。我哋聊天室嘅觀眾咧，你哋會呢個 matchup 係多龍對猛雷古啦，睇好邊邊多咧？ 我就睇好多龍多少少嘅，以前多龍打猛雷古係猛雷有優勢多啲，咁啊而家嘅猛雷古對住多龍好有機會，就算一開始領先都好啦，就好有機會後期多龍都係搞到佢行唔喐，始終冇咗 Poké Stop 啊，冇咗引哇呢啲咁向前 draw 嘅嘢係令佢中 dead hand 喐唔到機會好大。 多龍，我都係多龍嘅 fans。加一加一，多龍加一。有冇猛雷古嘅支持者呢？
Genesect set up early could shut off some of that aggressive pressure Prime Catcher puts on the opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Prime Catcher, ever since it's come out, it has almost been the go-to ace spec. If you're not sure which one to put in your deck, you know, bringing something up on the bench on an item card so you can still like draw into it with a supporter card, pretty good.
Over on Yuya's end, in terms of this list, pretty standard.
佢哋兩個個表情都係好有成竹、好冷靜嘅感覺，俾我兩位都係。
allowing you to
嗰
search
種
out your trainer cards.
哇，完全冇緊張嘅感
Just
覺。
put on a whole lot of damage. You've got to expect when attacking with these Dragapult EX, there's a very realistic chance. Bellowing Thunder, discarding 5 energy, 70 damage for each energy discarded off the field. That's going to be a big thing you're going to want to keep your eye on with how many energies you guys able to flood the board with to apply maximum pressure.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a double dynamic going on. Of course, you have to think about that Bellowing Thunder and the big one-hit knockouts that it can do. But much like against the Gardevoir deck, the Raging Bolt player can set up that single prize Raging Bolt. You build up more damage or more energy onto it rather, and with that Thunderburst Storm attack, you can control the board very, very well. 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy on that single prize Raging Bolt. A very strong attack.
Players will shuffle up, of course, the Pokemon TCG. Before anything is done, players will flip a coin, see who goes first and second. Player who wins does get to choose, and this is again a little bit of an interesting dynamic with the deck. We talked about this on the main stream for yesterday. This Raging Bolt
即係
deck
擺喺
is
張
so
台
family on top
邊
of
排喺個
knockdown.
台
A lot of
邊
times
咁樣都
wants
幾
to go
Q。
first. And on Jose's side, his deck sort of wants to go second and get this Budu pressure. Is there a world where, each player has their own sort of philosophy with how they want to start? Or they decide, my opponent going first is too powerful. Maybe I'm okay to put myself on a little bit of a back foot in terms of playing
決賽嘅
supporters
先後
and
攻
giving
都
my
係
opponent the
擇呢
opportunity
個
of
色
slowing
仔
me
決
down.
定。
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. It's something I actually talked about with Joe a couple of
咁啊
times.
Game One 係擇色仔決定啦，跟住 Game Two 同 Game Three 都係 輸上一個 game 嘅選手可以決定自己先定後。
Advantages go differently because of the matchup. Maybe you opt to go first or second when you wouldn't do otherwise.
So we will be ready to draw those first 7 cards from the top of the deck. We'll take a look and see what the coin flip result was. Who is going first in this game? And Yuya will be starting things off. Exactly what you want as this Raging Bolt player. You get that first turn 1 fan call. That's the Rotom's ability. It lets you search out all of the colorless Pokemon. And then from there, can start applying pressure with the various ancient Pokemon you have at your disposal.
Yeah, Raging Bolt is specifically this version with the Noctowl engine with the Fan Rotom. One of the few decks that really doesn't mind going first at all. You want to get this Hoot down, so then on your second turn, you get that Teal Mask Ogerpon down, you evolve into Noctowl, your Dual Seeker for exactly what you need, and you pretty much can pick out the perfect turn to respond to whatever your opponent's done.
Taking all 6 prize cards in the Pokemon TCG, how a player can win the match. We're waiting to see what those 6 cards will be. Both players will take those off the top of the deck, put them into our prize cam, and we're going to see right now what cards are unavailable. You take those and put them to your hand when a
買
Pokemon
prize
is not
啦
covered. So let's see
睇
what
下
that
下
looks
啲咩
like.
先。
We'd love to see
哦 prize 咗隻，哦 prize 咗兩隻中間，少少唔舒服，吉字雞都 prize 咗，都係有機會令佢啲 Joy Engine 受影響，反而調翻轉猛雷股嗰邊啲 prize 還好，多龍嗰邊會有少少對佢個展開有啲辛苦。嗱，3個係未翻譯，係啊，翻譯啊。
Players are ready, cards in hand, anticipation building. You can feel it in the air. These players are nervous, they're anxious, but they know what they want, and that is a World Championship title. We are all ready to get things kicked off. Here comes the handshake.
搞笑啊！隻多龍仔咁樣派張台嘅感覺好正，平時都唔覺多龍啲公仔咁得意嘅，但係佢呢個咁樣派到好鬼得意。好，猛雷先攻，咁啊草面具特性有冇個風扇做展開呢？咁啊最緊要都係 first round 有冇落托冇 call friend 展開 ？OK， 拍低一隻猛雷。哦，咕咕有2個，係咪一個能量啦？條田嘅 ，OK 都係條田 pass。睇嚟，唔知佢剩低嗰2張 hand 喐唔喐到啦，剩低啲 hand 就咁睇啊，冇風扇嘅展開啊，有風扇啊，起碼可以執到啲面，就確保下 round 一定有得展開先。哦，奇書，哦，起碼對面幫咗你換咗6張新嘅，咁樣反而冇用風扇係冇事啊。跟住你用風扇咧揾咗啲貓頭鷹面喺手機俾人奇書走翻落底。 㗎。好，試直接換6張新嘅。多龍呢邊可唔可以 call 到隻 item lock 出嚟咧 ？Oh no！ 冇 item lock 就俾咗好大嘅空間俾猛雷呢邊啦。我見佢手上面已經有赤蟲，有赤蟲都幾好，可以上到 N 俾隻猛雷仔追佢後排有能量嘅多龍底嚟射咧，其實就領先好多啦已經。咁啊，佢填邊個就追住邊個嚟射。令到多龍上 N 慢咗好多咧，其實就優勢都大翻喺度。個 N 上手，手田切去，咁啊90追你隻有 N 嘅多龍啦。
Understands what he wants to do, no hesitation. Thunderburst Storm as Yuya Okita strikes first in game number 1.
Oh, and a big top deck for Jose as Jose draws a professor's research.
有擔架，佢係擔翻隻多龍出嚟。我係擔翻個能量，手貼咁啊 ，Professor。
You want to power up these Dracloaks on the bench, but Jose understands you may need some disruptive pressure with something like the Badu for an item lock this turn. We'll see 7 fresh cards on top of the
OK， 有 item lock 啦，終於。
Is that Badu? So Itchy Pollen can be the attack of choice. However, there I don't think was any Dracloak found into this hand.
Oh no!
不過啲多龍都係冇進化過。希望對面撤退唔到，唔好再追住自己多龍底啦。係冇進化過都係好難搞啊 ！Price 咗兩隻中間都係難進化。好，阿妹已經起手啦，咁啊輕鬆撤退。
Yeah, so sort of getting rewarded for holding that Latias EX. Of course, if that Pokemon is down, there's no point in playing the counter catcher. Holding it and preserving it, allowing Jose to essentially burn a powerful resource later on, using the Teal Dance and his
大鑊啦 ！feel 到多龍好似可以 Game 2啦。呢個 Game 1係已經好似大細二佢冇得打啦。佢隻阿妹都出埋嚟，佢全場又冇進化過，其實你都好難 counter 佢。
This baby Raging Bolt, you can commit energies, you can put Dracloak into play, but it is immediately going to be knocked out no matter what you can do this turn because it's already got all the energies and no Pokemon can be trapped, like you said, thanks to that Skyliner ability.
Yeah, and there is, of note in Jose's list, there is one singular copy of Rare Candy. If you can find the Rare Candy and the Dragapult, that could be one way to get the Dragapult into play. And if you can find that Neo Upper Energy, that would be the one way you could do a Phantom Blast this turn. By the looks of Jose's hands, I don't think that he found it.
Jose has not even had the opportunity to search the deck yet. We're at turn 4 at this point, and nothing has essentially happened in terms of allowing Jose to find pieces.
右邊狂射就贏，係啊，真係搞唔掂啦！落後太多啦，多龍要進攻，我懷疑要好後嘅事啊！
There's a Dreepy in the prize cards, a Dreepy in the discard pile, and a Dreepy on the bench. So this Buddy Poffin
呢個先攻搞唔，喂 ，sorry， 呢個 Game 1搞唔掂啦，你大細意佢。不過決賽可以唔使咁急投降，因為決賽黑15分鐘一場，又應該點都打得晒3場。你每個 game 玩25分鐘喎，可以就可以有好多時間。
Raging Bolt is just wreaking havoc on your board, and there's nothing you can do.
See if Duskull is a potential choice. You know, that Curse Blast ability, a lot stronger in the game when, you know, the prize race is a little bit more even, but with a guaranteed another prize being taken and Yuya having taken 3 of the 6 prize cards come next turn, he's got to sort of debate what the rest of his board is going to look like this turn. Do you?
但係佢都好難有啲咩大嘅嘢，跟住調翻轉佢有冇謝米咧？即係如果冇謝米嘅。其實應該都淨係可以投降，佢對面隻猛雷係咁追住你養緊嗰隻多龍去搞。 另搞另反擊機會咯，我諗。
Yeah, absolutely. It's been near stable in so many different archetypes with its Blood Moon.
佢仲要呢鋪派出嚟，中間一直進化唔到，卡住咗自己。
The Blood Moon Luna EX attacks for 1 less energy, but so in the late stage of the game, absolutely 1 energy attack, 240 damage, very effective. Not an option available to Jose though, unfortunately for him.
It will be the Duskull and Dreepy, the two choices from the Buddy Poffin. And there is an energy attachment, but you kind of have to wonder, is it even worth attaching it to Dreepy if your opponent's going to want to knock one of them out anyways? They're just going to choose the one that has the energy, and because of that, it looks like we're actually going to see psychic energy. Wow, psychic energy on the Monkey Dory.
馬騮可能甚至要考慮下，要馬騮混亂佢啊，所以佢都知道填 M 俾自己啲多龍就仔咧，都係冇用啊！填邊隻俾佢追邊隻，倒不如填俾啲馬騮啦。我直接打啦你隻馬騮。咁啊，俾多啲空間俾打馬騮就俾咗空間俾多龍可以進化，希望佢兩隻都進化到啦。因為如果呢 round 進化咗兩隻就要兩手準備，你打甩我邊隻我都有另一隻可以再進化。咁啊近翻啲。
Just this Raging Ball wreaking absolute havoc and just really sitting uncontested, and this is the power of that single prize Raging Ball.
猛雷嗰邊咧，佢係一直仲未起到一隻，猛雷 EX 出嚟去秒殺多龍嘅。即係如果有機會咁樣呢 round 起得晒兩隻多龍旗，跟住下 round 真係進到隻多龍 EX 出嚟打，然後加埋奇樹干擾對面完全起唔喐咧。就好似仲有一線嘅生機，望係咁望啦。
Yeah, going to be some big recon directives coming up. Of course, that really strong ability in the Drak Cloak. What you want to put each Drak Cloak you have out, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and then you put one into your hand, the other one goes in the bottom. It's going to be some big recon directives these next few turns.
兩張都唔係幫到手嘅嘢。佢 hand 住兩張，其實係嗲嗲地 hand， 唔係好喐到嘅。
This again is the situation where Yu-Gi-Oh was going to knock out one of these Recloak regardless, and now we'll just choose your energy attachment. You're essentially just sending it to the discard pile over on Jose's side.
I think it's important to say, Yuya's basically done almost nothing this game. Like, what's Yuya done? Put a bunch of energy onto this Raging Ball, announce Thunderburst Storm free now 4 times, and take him 4 knockouts. Even if Jose can mount to come back, and let's not forget, Dragapult, like Gardevoir, is one of those decks that can make use of a lot of comeback cards to try and mount a really, really big comeback. We've seen blows over our time casting all of these games, but even this situation, I mean, the fact that you haven't even got a Dragapult down,
繼續追住有 N 嘅多龍去殺啦。
Sometimes the simplest strategies are the ones that are most successful. We may see
呢邊
Thunderburst Storms take this game.
得翻一個偵察指令，可唔可以有展開呢？整張奇樹啊，唔好咁慘啊！
There may be a position where we may not see Phantom Dive announced at all during this game. Needs to find something and does find two.
真係有奇樹喎！
And the Iono. What effect could either of those have in this situation here for Aya?
咁未必應該係揀奇樹。
Because that Hilda will grab you both the pieces you need, the Neo Upper Energy and the Dragapult. But the Iono is going to disrupt your opponent, and that'll be one of the only things you can do to stop your opponent from finalizing the game by taking the last few knockouts. It's a very tricky decision. Actually, didn't I see, what did Jose take out of the 2?
It is the Hilda, so prioritizing getting a Phantom Dive online. If you're not using that attack, you are not winning. Plain and simple, this is the bread and butter strategy of the deck. Is now just considering if it's worth putting another Duskull in play. It is not, and here we go. Combination
死咗落去，係啊！隻猛雷果然好勁啊！梗係鬥子同奇樹㗎，咁好似鬥子緊要啲喎。佢起話確保一定進攻，啱睇唔到係鬥子同奇樹㗎，我以為係奇樹直接望到。
draw passing over several turns and using that teal dance. Just needs to find 5 energy cards to discard with a bellowing thunder.
我就用鬥子嘅好處就係確保到100% 攻擊啦。不過佢嘅缺陷就係冇 item lock 對方，冇搞過對方手牌。而家有機會對面係一個展開就完 game。例如呢個情況，可能佢衝咗隻猛雷鼓出嚟打就可能完 game 㗎啦。即係鬥子嘅好處係100% 打出，但係好大缺陷就係你冇搞到對方手牌對面成堆嘢喺度咧，好容易即係咁直接一嘢衝出嚟完咗你 game。跟住你哋揀，你啱啱個政策指令會揀奇樹定係呢個鬥子？好似奇樹先係最啱，鬥子就係100% 打出，但係太大機會咧俾人反殺。
Did get rid of the energy switch, just needed to attach the lightning
energy,
but instead that small mistake all of a sudden throws everything.
個 mistake 係咪係咩 mistake 冇睇到？話個 energy 錯咗。呢個冇睇到佢個 mistake 係咩先？睇翻先。唔係因為冇能量咧之後，一個顏色唔啱喎，因為冇電能。misplay 來了。係咯，都好似揀奇樹係穩陣啲，揀鬥子有種手術成功病人死亡，但係估唔到對面一個 misplay 令到自己隻猛雷鼓打唔出。Oh no！ 掉咗能轉 ，Oh no 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 no！ 佢個上 N 嗰個，佢上 N 嘅能量錯咗，佢應該要上電 N 俾佢要上電 N 俾隻猛雷，但係就上錯咗隻電 N 俾隻古勒頓。哇！咁勁，揾到 Iono。哇！揾到 Iono 勁喎，即係有機會反級喎。
This is one of the really important skills in the Pokemon trading card game. If you do make a mistake, trying your best to play back around it to recover.
如果有 Iono 最勁嘅古仔係鷹人加反擊槍，殺咗佢有3粒 N 嘅草面具。咁啊，對面可能有啲唔夠能量去 lock out 佢嘅多龍。好似乜都冇喎。好，係乜都冇嘅。向前 A。A 70啫，決定唔殺你住，因為打死佢咧就俾咗太多嘅空間俾對面換呢個換牌上嚟，對面有咗3，好容易完 game 啊！
that can hopefully either A, be knocked out to trigger that flip the script, or some other option.
I like a third option. You bring up you bring up this Rage Ball EX, burst, roar, discard your hand and draw 6 cards.
嘿，換新嘅上去抽6。有冇再揾到奇樹，再搞一搞佢？ counter catcher， 但係好似我啱想講啦，有反擊槍捉草面具都仲爭一 damn 啊！ 要有個英人搞咗個草面，我覺得係有啲機會。
And then another Phantom Dive. And nothing you can do. Don't want to trigger that flip the script ability, but no matter what, Yuya is one knockout away, just short of taking the KO on the Teal Mask.
好啦，繼續期望對面乜都冇啦，唯有。
Actually, so flip the script is a potential option, but Yuya still just needs a single lightning energy. Will he find it this time? And boss's orders. Doesn't even need the lightning energy. Boss's orders.
唔使 deny 啊！少少驚險，一個 misplay， 但係前面嘅優勢太大，所以冇事，填錯能量唔緊要。如果因為填錯能量輸咗呢個世界冠軍，哇！ 童年陰影，我驚佢成世人都記得呢壇嘢。差錯應該話係有少少驚險嘅，但係最後尾都冇事，頂得住。如果因為差錯因而輸嘅，真係童年陰影，成世都記得呢個決賽。
Not just the EX, but this baby Raging Bolt. Thunderburst Storm after Thunderburst Storm, just consistently applying pressure to Dreepy, and with there being a little bit of that prizing issue, the 1-2 line in the prizes, it was just a little bit too little, too late for Jose to finally get Phantom Dive up and running. Even though there was a bit of a misstep from Yuya, he misattached the energy cards, got rid of this energy switch, he was still able to claw back after he did what he thought was game on this turn.
Yeah, so putting down the jamming tower and then very wisely in this sort of recovery play, playing this prime catcher to bring up the dust skull. Definitely the best thing to target here because you don't want your opponent to have access to curse blast.
多龍可唔可以追翻一局啦？左邊陰影大啲，而家係咯，而家左邊陰影夠晒大。希望佢 Game 2唔好 prize 得咁慘啦，佢 Game 1嘅 prize 太慘啦。
He's got to be asking himself, Frey, a question that many players are at this point too. How can he adjust into this game 2 and try and force us into a game 3?
Set up more Dreepy, don't prize a big part of your Dragapult line would be a good start.
You know, not prizing cards is a valuable skill in the Pokemon.
It really is.
If you just believe you don't prize any important pieces, or if you just never check that they're there, it's almost as if, you know, they're not prized if you really think about it.
That's definitely how it works.
See what the decision is here from Jose. If he wants to go first, he'll go ahead and go second in game number 2. So both players, it seems, very set on their opening strategies. Going first with Yuya's Raging Bolt deck, and Jose valuing the plethora of options he has on that first turn going second.
謝米呢？唔知佢到底有冇放謝米？ 就算有放謝米，佢啱啱啲波一直都係抽得唔啱，佢一直都係抽好有保分，嗰個保分 call 唔到謝米，好似冇乜點見過佢掹過高波。甚至可能個故仔佢根本冇放謝米都唔出奇。 唔知佢係咪有放謝米嘅啫？後面好似眼發淚光了，咁有嚴峻，喂咁嚴峻，會咁都睇到佢眼發淚光了。諗起以前 VGC 經典畫面，嗰個代獸 Mega 親子拳打到對面個小朋友喊。 謝米喺屋企輸台，有波但係用咗嚟揾多龍。咁可能如果有波用咗嚟揾多龍嘅話，可能真係直接冇謝米嘅，佢可能唔落謝米。 好呢邊有風扇展開。 細晚單拆。
To search out some Pokemon, colorless at that, and 100 HP or less, and can still grab out evolution Pokemon. Noctowl very conveniently, and I'm sure purposefully having
OK， 用埋風扇特性。
will be the 3 choices from
抹停抹停抹停。
Now the second question becomes bench management and energy management. Yuya's definitely going to put these 2 hoots down. That will be no surprise. But is it worth, locking yourself out of the bench spaces for the time being? You want to put this energy, and Yuya does have the fighting energy in hand. It seems small and insignificant, but down the line, it really is going to matter.
睇下今 round 係咪繼續係變成猛雷股單槍射擊？ 直接撤退先。哇，同隔離同啱啱嗰個畫面有啲似喎。不過又係 Iono， 不過好啲嘅就係佢今次係有得 item lock 對面。
From the Itchy Pollen. It sounds insignificant, but it does put you in exact math range for a Phantom Dive down the line. Would be a little bit more happy if this Raging Bolt in the active spot takes the small little tickles that come out from Itchy Pollen.
Yeah, so often we see
好
that
用
Phantom Dive maps works out
係
really
拍
nicely. If you hit something in the active, you hit a bunch of
哇！佢會咁慘啊！次次都 price 兩隻中間，都會唔會太慘啊？朋友，真係辛苦啊！喂，大佬。
Does also prize the Monkey Dory. It's not an important card in this matchup, but you always got to keep note of what pieces are available. They are still manageable. A lot of the times, like you said, that one copy of Rare Candy, just getting Dragapult EX into play and not having to worry about the long and treacherous path of normal, regular evolution when you're facing down constant pressure from Thunderbird Storm could be the main piece Jose was missing in that first game to get himself back in game number 2.
Yeah, and in this game, Jose is starting off nicely with an Arven, so we'll be able to get some Dreepy down quite nicely. Is already leading with the Badu, so we know that this turn is going to end on an Itchy Pollen, which is going to put Yuya in the back foot a little bit. But we do
多
know,
龍
of course,
都係揀後會好啲嘅。你揀先咧，調翻轉左邊嘅後攻可能起得仲快，隻猛雷菇勁少少後攻已經射緊你啦，已經。
Not really significant since you put them on the Dreepy. It's just the choice from the Thunderbird.
真係好慘，決賽先搞呢啲。換個角度嚟咁，換個角度諗，佢都入到決賽啊，都唔會慘啫。前面已經好運捱過晒前面啲嘢，入到決賽都唔會太慘嘅。我哋睇到佢慘嘅一刻啫，冇睇到佢之前光輝嘅一刻。
You want to make sure you have the option to find that, and of course now Jose will be looking through the deck. Unlike in game 1.
唉，可能佢有 search， 點解有得咁少多龍旗？搞咩啊？佢個樣有啲迷茫。
So Jose taking a decent amount of time is nicely told by the judge that we'll need to select a card. You don't have all day in the Pokemon TCG. Come on, Jose. We got plenty of matches to showcase here. We got to pick things up.
OK， 照樣好有補分加氣球。 好有補分，多龍多龍，有冇多一個好有補分？哦，有 Ultra 喎。OK， 攞鬼鬼。
is always a key piece to grab evolution Pokemon, but just values potentially getting that up and running some point in the future.
Yeah, just got to go ahead and get that now. I mean, we did see in the first game, Yuya targeted down that Duskull, knowing that
係咪攞鬼鬼啊？定係攞多一隻多龍咧
？Preventing Yuya from playing items on his next turn. How does Yuya respond?
item lock 對面用唔到 item 底下，可唔可以做到3N 嘅猛雷出嚟咧？有貓頭野鷹可以攞到個，有植入奧林博士喎。D-N 有冇 ？Lightning Energy 有冇咧？但係賽平嗌到鬼殺咁，應該有啦。對面喺冇 item 嘅情況之下，都 call 粒 N 話 call 就 call， 佢都尷尬啦。
Only one Crispin in the deck. Yuya taking note off of that fan call on turn 1. That piece was not available. You gotta risk it.
我諗啱啱其實會唔會隻鬼鬼嗰個位寧願攞多一隻多龍旗嘅？咁我呢 round 可以進兩隻多龍旗，好似會舒服啲。
Thunderburst Storm again striking, and with how Jose has again been drawing to the deck, it seems like we're seeing yet another.
佢覺得對面未必射得出隻馬雷股，所以都決定一隻就算呢。
Maybe the biggest lightning energy draw of Yuya's life off there with the Crispin prize, able to find it and start putting pressure on. And now Jose is once again, even with leading with that itchy pollen, it's very much on the back.
再可有部分。
Go ahead and use that buddy puff and can get some more Dreepy down from that. Maybe a second Dust Goal if he feels like that might be the best move to make. Nope, just gonna go for the fourth Dreepy.
係啊，抽三話中就中，喺冇 item 嘅情況之下，嗰啲乜鬼嘢大地勇氣唔使 sorry。奧林博士3張 hit 中，冠軍就係要呢啲。
Do I do something else? But yet again here, Jose crucially missing
Joy item lock.
Attachment. That's going to make it even harder, especially with the pressure Thunderburst Storm is putting on.
好，對面唔使做啦，最簡單嘅嘢啫，追住你未進化嗰啲。
Go, buddy. I've got everything I need here.
OK， 又重新進化。
Is this the Thunderburst Storm World Championships we're seeing here in the Junior Finals? It sure feels like it right now.
We are in a treacherous storm for sure. Nobody is safe when the lightning sparks are all around. Hilda is the choice for turn. So if Jose does have
溝唔到，未揾赤蟲，赤蟲唔得啊，赤蟲下 round 啦。其實最穩陣，佢應該係直接就用嗰個，直接就用赤蟲係好啲，就唔使抽。佢直接用貓頭鷹揾赤蟲好啲，但係佢揀咗抽，然後仲要3張係抽中，都係啊！冠軍就係要呢啲。
Also crucial to note, often the Recon Directive did find that Neo up energy. So in a worst case scenario, you know you have the energy attachment ready to go to power up your Phantom Dive. Really crucial find off the Recon Directive there.
OK， 太精長。
The bench has become larger. Terra Pokemon are ready to show their immersive power. Area 0 under depth. Thanks to there being a Terrestrial Pokemon.
呢 round 好啲嘅咧，就係佢隻草面具冇儲得太多 energy， 都還好啲啲。
This Raging Bull deck wants to play as wide as possible. Start things off with a Teal Dance, still under item lock, so can't do anything else. And it's actually going to be Thunderbird Storm and does target down the Pokemon on the bench with the energy. Like you said, though, Freya, Neo Upper Energy could potentially be the savior in this second game.
Yeah, it could. Having said that, I think I still like you.
而家佢進到隻多龍 EX 出嚟衝，好似我覺得仲有得玩喎。如果佢衝到隻多龍 EX 出嚟，打得晒對面啲嘢，然後加埋干擾，好似〜打晒佢啲 N， 然後再加埋干擾，真係有得玩喎。
This combo may be online. Got the air balloon and the Genesect are in the hand. So if Jose chooses to, could bench that Genesect and attach the tool card.
有冇機會？哦，卡咗赤蟲，所以就冇得揀啦，一定係。
During the rest of the game, we'll see the evolution.
有冇奇樹搞埋對面個 hand？ Professor 就爭少少。
Yeah, which I think makes a lot of sense in this situation, and also gotta love the placement on the flying entry. Put one on that Teal Mask Ogerpon so that it's more vulnerable to a Phantom Dive later, and then one on the Hoot Hoot so that Phantom Dive can also do residual damage on the bench to KO that too.
Importantly, does evolve that Dusclops, or excuse me, from the Duskull into the Dusclops.
我反擊槍可能殺隻貓頭鷹先好啲喎。如果冇奇樹嘅話，哦，佢哋照咬住先，佢應該想一口氣清晒佢啲貓頭鷹先進攻。因為如果唔係，我覺得留一隻貓頭鷹佢都係好唔舒服，一定要清場。一係就清到佢冇太，一係清到佢全冇晒太精，一係清到佢冇晒貓頭鷹。
I think I want to target this Dusclops. This feels like the most threatening thing right now. Like I put together a combo to make some kind of comeback. If you target this down, you are then just 1-2 prize knockout from winning the game with a Bellowing Thunder. So I think that Dusclops is really important to target right now.
It's tough, right? You put yourself to 2 prize cards. And I guess at that point, you don't care about back-to-back Dragapult EX attacks. So
no, exactly.
Jose's just going to put himself in range where the same situation he was fearing is part of the game. Okita is now just 2 prize cards away from becoming a world champion.
Targeted down the Dusclops, preventing any Curse Blast shenanigans from happening. So now, with just 1 knockout on a Dragapult EX, Yuya will become the world champion. But it's not over yet. Jose is going to be fight tooth and nail to come back in this game 2 and try and take us through a game 3. Let's see what he has.
Plenty of Pokemon
有冇機會反杯？我覺得仲有偈傾，俾啲奇蹟你睇下。
One piece that is missing right now is something like Iono, hand disrupting Yuya while potentially taking out multiple Hoot this turn.
有冇 Iono 清晒佢啲貓頭鷹？
The Raging Bolt in the active spot, getting rid of those 3 energy cards. Maybe the needed combination piece, but I'm not sure Iono is there. And you can see Yuya has again amassed a massive hand, and this is a combo deck, this Raging Bolt deck. You give it tons of cards to work with, it's going to put something together that you're not going to like.
Yeah, and not only that, of course, we did say the last
3架係咪都要揾翻隻多龍
So Prime Catcher is still an option for you, to try and steal out this game with a Professor Sada's
Professor
and Prime Catcher on the Dragapult.
It's just going to use Professor's research. Yuya's got to be breathing a sigh of relief.
如果用 Professor 嘅話，我估佢今 round 應該唔進攻啦，繼續係 item lock 嘅啫，我估係。
You gotta really feel like taking out the energies from play, denying the large damage essentially guaranteed next turn from a Bellowing Thunder is gonna potentially be an option. And no, it's just gonna pass the turn over using the Itchy Pollen to shut items off again.
裏面救翻隻赤蟲未咧？攞咗咁多個 prize。哦，有赤蟲喎。會唔會考慮下直接用赤蟲上翻啲 M 俾隻大猛先啊？
Yeah, I don't think Yuya is going to be able to have game this turn, but he can essentially put himself in a position where he's checkmating on Jose the next turn. And so I think very wisely here, Yuya not being greedy about it, thinking, you know what, I'm so far ahead of here, let's not get ahead of ourselves, let's just set up my board well, so I know on the next turn.
呢 round 嘅期數有少少遲咗，如果上 round 即係如果佢下 round 嘅期數係自己遲咗，如果佢呢一刻嗰下期數佢未用赤蟲去上咁啲 N 就好啲，你又再俾多一 round 佢上 N 就。 再辛苦咗啲啲。
Grass energy to hand, splitting the energy smartly between these Teal Mask Ogre Pawn to make sure they're preserved as well as possible. Yuya can take a knockout on something like the Halucha yet again with this Thunderburst Storm and put himself 1 prize card away. And interestingly enough, going to discard his own stadium to bump his bench down to 5 and get rid of that Noctowl, which could be a liability down the line. Knock out the Budu, and now just 1 prize card away from the TCG World Champion.
So now we know
that
Iono in hand, so it is all going to come down to this. You play the Iono and
反擊啦，
from finding the pieces to
有冇得一個奇數翻盤就係呢鋪啦。
the board outside of this active Pokemon. So if you knock out this active Raging Bolt, all Yuya needs is an energy of any type, whether it's through a supporter card, an attachment from hand. It does not matter, but this is what you can do. There's no Pheasantipity in play, just the one Hoot. Big 1 card here for Yuya, as Jose will
Oh no! Energy 完 game.
That's true. That would spell disaster here for Jose. Not done with the turn yet. It's going to do
bye bye. 一個 energy 3-0完 game， 奇數一張都係能量。佢個 D-N 好黐手喎，佢嘅 D-N 即係奧林博士又抽到 D-N， 奇數一張啫，又係 D-N。
Is actually instead going to potentially use something like the Jet Headbutt to play around the KO. Potentially an option. It looks like we're just figuring out the Phantom Dive damage here. So here we go. We're going to see the Phantom Dive, or excuse me, here we go. Yeah, Phantom Dive is being used. This Raging Bolt is being knocked out in the active spot.
And game. GG. 3-0 boom.
Takes the game and becomes your Juniors Division 2025 World Champion.
恭喜日本嘅選手猛雷鼓。 我哋一齊登咗多龍，大家觀眾都話多龍支持者出晒嚟，點知輸咗。
Put an excellent display, showcasing how strong Raging Bolt can be when it gets the pieces set up and Thunderburst Storm puts on work. There was a no dream zone this today. We will see our first champion on Championship Sunday, Yuya Okito. Congratulations.
Yeah, doing it
冠軍就係要咁，冇錯，冠軍就係呢啲，要乜有乜先至爬到上嚟噶嘛，要乜冇乜嗰啲就喺Day1度講咗拜拜。你上到嚟係實力同運氣都要兼備。射咗有8獎 ，Game 2佢單人射咗5獎，上一個 game 射咗幾多獎啊？好似4獎，射咗9 prize 啊！如果 PTG Live 嗰啲又有顯示最大 damage MVP 嘅就係呢隻細猛。抽3嗰個唔係要有 N 啊，抽3嗰個係要有電 N 啊，仲要指到明係電 N。Top 咗嗰個 N 就即係臨尾咧 price 嗰個 N 就易啲嘅，乜嘢能力都得，但係哇，抽3嗰個係電 N， 勁啊！田初有槍。
Prize card taken and a world champion title crowned.
Congratulations again to Yuya, our first champion here on our Sunday. That was a great way to kick things off.
I agree, absolutely.
The Raging Bolts had an up and down year, but I know there are some Raging Bolt fans out there. Really the main star of the show. It's always been about that Bellowing Thunder attack. But I have to admit, I was a little bit skeptical of the Thunderburst Storm Baby Raging Bolt. It really, if there are any doubters of how strong that card is, even for an attack that on paper seems underwhelming, it's really the pressure of just being able to put that 90 damage anywhere on your opponent's board.
And not only that, it turns Raging Bolt from being a bit of a one-trick pony deck to a deck with options, where you can suddenly control your opponent's board.
日本嗰邊佢個吉祥物唔應該用呢個 solo， 應該用翻猛雷鼓。呢隻猛雷鼓咁辛苦，幫佢射咗咁多 prize。教材請大謝米，不過唔係嘅，多龍唔揀謝米，原因可能佢都即係覺得猛雷固而家個比例少啦。調翻轉佢空咗個 dead 位出嚟，擺咗其他嘢，佢有擺唔俾用 ace 嗰隻角落賽一特嘅，唔俾用 ace 卡嘅角落賽一特，可能佢空嗰啲位係幫助咗佢之前其他 game 贏咗。調翻轉你落謝米嗰刻咧，你又會話。落乜謝米又冇乜用到咁啊，仲慘。因為呢個環境唔落謝米都有原因嘅，同以前嗰個環境即係好多猛雷或者係好多 N 索一出嚟係咁射後排嗰段時間又有啲唔同。
I think Anna is ready on the stage to hear from our winner. So Anna, take it away. Let's hear from our first TCG World Champion.
訪問嘅階段啦。
I am here with your world champion Yuya Okita. How does it feel to be called a world champion?
気持ちはどうですか？
とても嬉しいです。
He's very happy.
I would be too.
簡潔，就係咁簡潔。有咩心情？開心。
Is there anything you want to say to the audience or your family?
何か観客とかお客様に言いたいこととかメッセージありますか？
專門用時方恨少嘅英文係咩？
同じにWCS のシニアリーグで3位になったリックとデッキを共有してたのでお互いに勝ってとても嬉しいです。
So he has a friend in the seniors that was third place, and he's very happy that they were both able to win together.
Oh, congratulations to your friend. Thank you, Yuya. Let's hear it one more time for your world champion. Thank you, Yuya. You can leave the stage now and go celebrate. All right, you know what that means. It's time for your world championship match in the seniors division. Please help me welcome to the stage your competitors.
主持人今日係咪最忙嘅環節？每一個今日特別多過場中間呢啲採訪啊嗰樣嘢，因為3日最忙係佢啦，今日3日入面最忙嘅今日啦。
Hello, and now, please welcome.
哦，係中國嘅選手喎。哇！估唔到 Senior 由中國嘅選手打到去決賽啊！
Well, thank you very much, Anna. What an entrance to have there. The player we're all watching in the senior division, Gabriel Fernandez, coming out. The storyline we're watching. But on the other side, Fuguan coming to try and show the story is not always about the Titan, it's about the competitor. My name is Mike Ellis, joined by the mastermind himself, Joe Bernard. We're going to be taking you through all the action here in the senior world finals.
This one's a special one, Mike. It's hard to say at any point in any game that we could eclipse a Masters final, but I think we've got all the elements today. This is going to be an absolute thriller. Strap yourselves in.
Yeah. We had a lot of players making their way through the tournament. We started 353 seniors, went through 10 rounds of Swiss, and it ended in the top cut here. As you can see, both players meeting in the final, ready to complete their journey. I know you, Joe, went to go and watch the semi-finals. Yeah. You got to see the action there. Talk us through what happened.
Fuguan had a really interesting matchup against Raging Bolt, and it was actually the Pikachu EX that was pretty much hard carrying in that matchup because the Raging Bolt EX wasn't playing the Slitherwing in the list, which meant it was able to take a huge chunk of prize cards and really overtake the game. Whereas Gabriel, it was a very different story. He was able to overcome a Golden Go EX deck, and it was all about patient play and setting up that position. And I think that could be a story of our final, in fact, Mike, because that use of Toedscruel, that use of Iono, that's going to be critical coming into this final. There's no secret that Gabriel has taken on a number of Golden Go, but this is a slightly different list, and it's going to cause new headaches and new challenges.
係個賽事個卡嘅環境係冇出到最新嘅，但係佢哋都一樣可以打中國佢哋本身嗰啲大師賽咁去攞到世賽嘅資格去出賽呢個 WCS 啦。咁佢哋用嘅卡咧就都可以用翻最新環境嘅卡嘅，但係咩語言就唔清楚啦。但係應該大會嗰方面會最後應該會有提供嘅。喺好耐前，中文版啱啱出嘅時候啦，咁香港都有搞過一個邀請賽，咁喺日本京都就邀請6個地區嘅選手去打，咁啊小弟有幸贏咗個比賽，就去做代表去打啦。咁嗰時我哋嘅環境都唔係日本最新嘅嘛，咁官方嘅時候其實佢哋嗰時都會提供日本最新環境嘅卡俾我哋，即係我哋俾條 list 佢就砌嗰副 deck 俾我哋打咁樣，所以卡嘅問題應該係唔太困難解決。官方贊助的，所以卡嘅問題應該係唔太難解決。
And on the other side, Gabriel Fernandez has faced off against 4 himself. So, interesting storyline here. We've got 2 decks. Golden Go, Joltik Box merged together for Fuguan. Gabriel Fernandez has beaten both Joltik Box and Golden Go on the route to this final.
It's just that merge, that combination that's going to be more dangerous perhaps with Fuguan having that early game aggression at the disposal, especially because that can take on the Toedscruel so effectively with only 120 hit points. Perfect math will amp you very much an attack that I'm sure our players
要重新學，冇錯啊，都唔容易。佢始終都冇經歷過嗰個環境，變咗就要可能多啲同人喺 TCG Live 度練習啦，要係咁揾多啲外國嘅環境去做測試。
Picked up another Pikachu trophy with a top 4 in Honolulu, is now back on the final stage, trying to become a
覺得講呢 Senior 同 Junior 嘅選手呢，都感覺好青靚白淨，係咪就係未經社會摧殘嘅人就可以 keep 住咁青靚白淨？我哋啲 Master 組別咧出咗嚟社會做嘢，已經俾社會摧殘到個人頹咗好多。
China, only introduced in 2024 season, making their way all the way here, and both players have shuffled their decks, taken their first hand, put their active Pokémons out, and we're just getting ready for that start. I'm sure this is one of the most anticipated finals of the day. History will be made here.
我想 N 索都係今次嘅黑馬 Master 嗰把都有 N 索咯，我都有啲估唔到，咦 N 索仲打到上嚟咁高嘅位置。一邊係 Solo， 一邊係電的。我國應該唔俾翻場打 PC Live。不予置評呢個，要玩 live 總會有佢嘅方法玩到嘅。
Well, we've been anticipating it all through the season. The perfect season from Gabriel Fernandez. All 3 ICs won by him. 4 regional champions. Even went to locals and won 4 cups and 4 challenges, looking to try and complete.
聽日9點仲要翻工，唉！我就特登請咗星期1假，知道今晚要睇決賽，所以特登請咗假。如果唔係就變咗又係朝頭早9點要翻工。
Phenomenal new inclusion from the Black Bolt set with that metallic signal. We also see early game ball search and a gimme ghoul to boot. So a pretty decent opener here for Fuguan.
Yeah, looking for those
係賽富豪感激放大嗰個。
allowing you to find a basic Pokemon and put it straight onto your bench. 2 in the hand there for Fuguan. And we'll look to try and find the gimme ghouls as well as that potential Miraidon, which he's now going to find is in the prize cards.
Fortunately, a couple of Nest Ball actually in this hand, so he still can go the long way about things. I think there's even the Brock Scouting in hand for next turn as well, which would open up the door for the likes of the Latias EX with that Skyliner to move the 2 retreat cost Genesect EX. So we can start developing a few of these basics, and even without the Miraidon EX, it looks like the hand is strong enough.
好 check 下自己 price 有啲咩？ 靠一靠。啱啱睇佢哋 price 都唔算，兩邊都唔算卡得話好嚴重啲嘢。
So typically you try and flood your energy early with a Joltik. You allow your lightning Pokemon to get knocked out, and then you use superior energy retrieval throughout the game to reload with your Golden Go EX. So quite different.
想講點解佢隻噴火龍公仔好似走走地樣咁嘅？
Lucky Charizard on the table with him. His favorite Pokemon has brought it here.
但同賽難過，我想講，琴日即唔係琴日 Day 1 最多嘅 deck 係賽富豪，你都要抽中唔打賽富豪先得喎。噴火龍就少咗好多嘅，不過噴火龍都係有威力喺度。確白都仲係有副噴啦，都但係估唔到噴竟然打唔贏女王，俾女王贏咗。
into what is remaining when you're constantly able to search cards and also towards what you're drawing with.
咁啊，到對手啦，鋪咗一隻蜘蛛，鋪咗一隻賽富豪仔。
allowing us to get early access to ball search cards. In addition to that, we have some phenomenal tools like.
Yeah, Arvin allowing you to search for 1 item card and 1 tool card from your deck, introduced in Obsidian Flames.
鑊噴嗱，我哋唔可以咁樣標榜有咩地區版本差異嘅噴火龍就噴火龍，冇分邊個國家嘅噴火龍嘅。
And I'm sure we'll see Gabriel using it many a time in this final.
Combination would mean an energy in hand or a ball searching card. And then the Arvin can find the other pieces alongside that technical machine evolution. So a buddy popping to get a couple Zorua would mean that we could end our turn on 2 N Zoroark EX, exactly where you want to be as Gabrielle, because not only is the N Zoroark EX one of your early game attacking options, but also it's the way that you draw through your deck, and already we're seeing Gabrielle look through their prize cards. One of the cards already on top of that deck is that Toad School, because there is that Toad Scroll tech card in the list, Mike.
Yeah, the Slime Mold Colony has helped Gabrielle take down all the Golden Go in the tournament. But this is a different matchup, as that superior energy retrieval in Golden Go is not the only way to attack. So we'll shut that down, as well as the Levincia in the deck.
Right.
But there are other ways to attack, thanks to the Iron Hands. And so Fuguan will find another way, and that's why that Joltik has been the target early on. But Gabrielle, including this Toad School,
有保分加演進，係咪會揀水母進化啦？
Beating Golden Go in the top 8 and top 4 matches. This is slightly different, so some different challenges going on in this finals. In his top 4, he had to navigate a Cornerstone Mask Ogapon EX and had to position quite carefully. his monkey dory and whatnot. I think it was actually a
Solo.
scratch attack from an Enzuru, which closed him out the way to this final with a binding Mochi tool in the list. As we're going through those final actions of this turn number 1 from Gabriel, it looks like we are lining up. There's an Earthen Vessel now to grab some Darkness Energy. It is.
So our 2023 World Champion, Gabriel, has come here to try and make it too. In this situation, he's come up with an unusual deck that many will not be ready for. But he's up against something a little bit unusual on the other side. That Joltik box combined with Golden Go is not something he necessarily
佢覺得唔使咁急做隻水母住，做咗啲索出嚟先。要放水母啊，咁咪即係好難搞賽，賽真係順暢咗太多副笛，所以係要諗辦法面對下。即係唔落水母嗰啲笛都會考慮下落面具去對抗賽夫。
Difficult for a Zoroark EX to punish early on, but also that Ampy very much can brute force through some 2 prize knockouts, even on these lower hit point Pokemon.
Yeah, when Iron Hands EX came into the format back in LEIC a few years back, it was the star of the show, a fan favorite that Ampy very much, a very powerful attack, and one of the main reasons why Joltik box has been included in this Golden Go, allowing you to do what Golden Go cannot at the start of the game. And that Genesect EX in the active spot has been a fundamental part of why Golden Go has been so popular here. Metallic Signal, such a powerful ability.
小江咁啊，攞撤退嘅阿妹，另外就應該攞上 N 嘅。
So rather than the Iron Hands EX, there's also this attacking option, Mike.
比較超
is a very frustrating ability to get around for certain.
我可以上 N 啦。
Gabriel's is one of those, so the Pikachu EX can quite confidently put a huge number of energy on it, all from this Joltik. And we're even searching some metal energy out as well here, Mike, from the Earthen Vessel. This Pikachu EX can run riot on a board, and it doesn't have to be concerned with Toedscruel either.
Many of you will be very familiar with this Pikachu EX, a very popular Pokemon, a very popular card, and that ability has allowed it to sustain an aggressive deck like Joltik Box and like this deck here today. 300 damage, a great number into these Stage 1 archetypes like Enzoroc, and I'm sure Figuan has been using it into the Golden Goes throughout the tournament. And that Latias EX ability, allowing all the basics to retreat for free. And the Joltik will be in the active spot. Jolting Charge, allowing Figuan to put 2 Lightning and 2 Grass energy from his deck onto any of his Pokemon. A very powerful way to set things up.
I love this turn 1, spending your energy attachment as metal onto the Pikachu EX, knowing that the Jolting Charge can pull out 2 Lightning and 2 Grass energy onto your Pokemon in any way that you like. Such a versatile attack. That's the only use of the Joltik in this list. There's no Galvantula in this instance, which you would see in more traditional builds of Joltik Box, but we don't necessarily have the space in this build to go for that. So instead, we're going to put 3 energy onto the Iron Hands EX, and looking at floating the Lightning onto the Pikachu EX. It's going to be all 4 energy.
最後尾揀晒全部俾感激放大，我以為佢會分翻啲落去隻比卡超添。比卡超最後尾就係揀咗手田降 N 啫。
Well, we're going to see the Iron Hands EX powered up, but if there's no Pokemon on Gabriel's side with 120 HP or less, it's going to be.
佢會揀俾一粒俾比卡超，咁就算下 round 佢進化晒賽富豪，唔係佢進化晒索羅，佢都仲可以即刻用300轟開佢啲索。咁啊，咁啲放大可以等佢真係放低。一隻低過8月嘅，即係可能佢放低水母要進化水母嘅時候，我先捉佢隻水母出嚟，打開2 buy 咁樣。所以佢呢刻會直接係2粒 M 俾比卡超咁樣。如果佢而家咁樣嘅話，有啲尷尬就係對面如果蓋晒嘢，然後跟住冇嘢俾佢感激放大係有啲尷尬。
Yeah, those trades have been so key for Enzoroc throughout the tournament. One of the most consistent cards in the format once set up. Golden Go on the other side has been touting that with the coin bonus, but being able to see 2 cards just for 1 discard, often that discard being a benefit, is a great way to get through your deck nice and fast. And that double darkness attack.
有冇萊希拉姆呢？萊希拉姆係最好嘅古仔啦，白3血唔使驚感激放大咯，又可以打得開佢隻豬。
Have one more trade. It's a tough debate. I think there is a counter catcher that might be discarded here.
有冇來希拉姆？有啦。
Wow, that nest ball coming in so clutch there. The ends Reshiram, a basic Pokemon searched and put onto the bench. And now that Night Joker can copy either Virtuous Flame or if the end Zorok has some damage on it, the Powerful Rage. Well, what a moment to start the thing off here. We've got all three of the end Zorok on setup. And the ends Reshiram waiting to take the first knockout here in our Seniors World Final. And it will be Gabriel Fernandez.
A decent start, Mike. It's just a single prize knockout though, and I think from this stage on, Fuguan might look to just keep this board of multi-prize Pokemon. The one prize KO means that Fuguan can't put down additional Gimme Ghoul without some sort of major drawback.
而家要去 lock out 佢隻索，又要再交翻俾蔡富豪，但係佢玩咗5粒 N 喺其他 Pokemon 度，蔡富豪仲有冇咁多能量去 lock out 嘅索都係一個疑問。
One of the huge benefits of that Joltik box archetype is the singular Joltik in play is just a one prizer. Nothing to worry about. For Fuguan to get all that energy in play and set up all those attackers, as Enzorok can't really knock out much on this board, can only hit for 170 with the Night Joker copying the Ends Reshiram. So all of these big basic Pokemon EX are safe from a knockout.
Using an Arben here as our supporter card for the turn, I only saw one energy available right now, with no easy targets for that Iron Hands. It's looking like a tough turn. If we'd floated one Lightning Energy to the Pikachu EX or one of those Grass Energy, we could have had an easy route to take a KO, but we could be holding back on that Topaz Bolt, knowing that it's such a late game great option. So we're actually going to go back into the Joltik here instead, and just go for another Jolting Charge.
再上 N。 但係咁樣個問題咧就係會落後2張 prize 對面索有機會打你2prize 就完 game 㗎啦。咁啊阿妹讓我㗎啦，然後最後尾可能可以再用月月紅衝出嚟殺佢其他嘅2prize。
We're over-attaching to the Pikachu EX. The Topaz Bolt only requires 3 energy, but it does discard 3 energy as well. So by having 4 energy on, we can then keep manually attaching up to continue to chain this Topaz Bolt attack. We're basically trying to make the Toad Scroll a non-factor in this instance, Mike, so that we don't rely on that Make It Rain to be our late-game win condition.
Well, nothing much for Gabriel to do here other than swing into that Joltik, but we'll be looking to stabilize throughout the game, and that's the advantage of the trade. You can discard all those cards you don't want to ever see again, but also start finding those powerful one-off cards like the Unfair Stamp, the Professor Turo scenario, these options that you want to be sprinkling in at the right moment. The more of them you have in your hand, the more options you have in those vital turns.
And I think we will still have to work towards a Toad School. It's just about the timing for Gabriel. That's what he has to get absolutely perfectly.
One
of them will be discarded. It's a 2-1 line, so don't be too panicked just yet. We do have additional Darkness Energy. Keeping up on attachments is really important maintenance here for Gabriel.
月月紅卡咗，唯有睇佢打唔打得翻出嚟。即係最後尾好有可能嘅2prize係月月紅攞。 佢而家打埋隻蜘蛛，咁對面個台有一隻阿妹可以用索羅去攞到2prize。最後一下嘅2prize 就真係要靠月月紅。
Gabriel Fernandez did sustain a loss in the Swiss to Raging Bolt EX, but in this final moment, it doesn't matter. All that matters now is one match to find out who will be the world champion here in Anaheim.
Gabriel will be using his support for the turn on an Arven, one of these situations where you didn't have much else to do, so instead we'll grab some resources for a future turn. In this case, it's going to be the energy switch. Already holding on to some Nest Ball and some other options as we have a massive hand size. You have to expect Gabriel to be constantly holding on to plenty of cards with the amount of trade on the board and with Fuguan not having access to any hand disruption whatsoever. Gabriel's in complete control of how many cards he has.
We know that Toad Scroll will come down at some point. Now, there is a number that's very important on that Toad Scroll that we'll be looking at as we go forward, but Gabriel taking a knockout on the Joltik, and now it is on Fuguan to look to respond with a knockout. 2 prizes ahead for Gabriel.
佢月月紅擺最高嗰個位，睇嚟佢係準備攞唔到月月紅啦。
the Joltik Golden Go deck to go ahead and at least attempt to, allowing one knockout on the Joltik perhaps, but I really like the setup from Fuguan here. Opens up the space to bench a Gimmighoul this turn pretty reliably.
如果攞唔到月月紅，佢又冇起水母，因為想問佢起咗水母，咁對面比卡超去突破佢嘅時候，佢都要諗下點樣搞啦。
Having suffered a KO on the previous turn, you can now draw 3 additional cards. And we have a superior energy retrieval. I do like the use of this proactively, knowing that you shouldn't have too much difficulty to reach when you need to. And getting any manual attachment at this stage onto Pikachu EX seems really valuable, and it's actually going to be alongside a Bravery Charm as well here.
Well, that Iron Hands EX is sitting on the bench, and we mentioned earlier on how it wouldn't have a target on the board. The Enzorok on the other side is 280 HP, it's out of range. The Pikachu is the attacker there, but why is that Iron Hands on the bench such a worry for Gabriel as the Pikachu comes forward to take a knockout?
You're trying to starve your opponent from putting down that Toad-Scroll combination. At any point, Fuguan can then capitalize and pounce and take an easy 2-prize knockout. Gabriel is aware of that, so it also keeps the Golden Go EX open as an attacking option, especially as we start to throw these energy in the discard pile with Topaz Bolt here and taking a big 2-prize swing.
Topaz Bolt, a hard attack cost to get, a Grass, a Lightning, and a Metal Energy. But on this occasion, it will take the knockout on the Enzorok for 300 damage. Pikachu taking 1.
Passing action back over to Gabriel now. In a tough position, the board doesn't look easy to navigate here. There is a Dark, weak Latias EX you can try and target down this turn if you would like. You could go down to 2 prize cards remaining yourself. And then you can try and pivot your attacking options towards the likes of a Petulant EX with its Irritated Outburst attack that can get stronger in the late game, or the Blood Moon Ursaluna EX that can combine with Binding Mochi to take knockouts on even very high hit point Pokemon, including that Golden Go EX. I think that's what Gabriel has to do in this instance. He's ahead in the race. There's an easy 2-prize Pokemon that he can
佢個地板好正，所以我覺得佢今年個台搭幾型，幾有呢個真係打道館 feel。今年個台係幾正。
Energy switch combinations, possibly even Janine's Secret Art as a decent choice during the game could be a way for him to weave in a late-game Petulant EX sweep.
So those first 2 prize cards could be key for Gabriel, and that Pheasantipity EX mirrored on the other side by Gabriel. So much draw on board, trade on the Enzorok.
Force Order，
flip the script.
我要捉到阿妹 lock out。
Pokemon was knocked out.
手上面仲有 reset stamp 啊，唔係有個 unfair stamp 不公印章，可以干擾埋對手。希望對手冇 N 令到隻比卡車打唔出都得。
Maybe looking just to hold everything if he can work towards a sort of checkmate situation on the final turn of the game.
重新起翻隻水母啦。
Now is the time to grab our Toad-Scroll by the looks of things.
因為下一 round 可能就要，如果佢冇月月紅去 lock out 對手嘅話咧，佢其實佢需要水母嘅。佢要希望對面冇辦法執翻啲嘢，執翻啲 N 用賽富豪啊，去 lock out 佢。
For his end game, we actually see the Binding Mochi attach the active into the N's castle. We're going into the N's Reshiram here. Then we're going to be poisoning our
有加工佢可以殺到210喎。
It's going to be increasing the damage output.
殺到210咁就唔使月月紅都得啦。
In this instance, thanks to the Binding Mochi.
如果佢殺到210可以殺吉子雞都可以，佢就係放咗一隻吉子雞啊！原本都揾緊嗰2派士喺邊度嚟，而家揾齊啦。有隻210嘅空位俾佢掘到出嚟。
But when you have the Binding Mochi and the Poison, it allows you to reach that perfect number of 210 hit points, which, as we mentioned, Pheasantipity EX
調翻2個能量入去。
better way to find it than the Binding Mochi combination, and there's multiple ways to set it up. We have the Janine's
會唔會用埋粒 stamp 咧？係啊，會啦。
And there we go, the ending of this turn.
哦 ，good。咁最後尾要殺嘅就係阿妹啊，就容易好多啊。
And Gabriel looking to really storm ahead in this vital knockout.
Gabriel will get 5 cards here from the unfair stamp, plus the flip the script as well. Don't forget.
係咯，如果冇隻吉子雞喺度就 對面難揾啲嗰兩 prize 啊。不過其實都唔係，佢有月紅一定揾到，佢唔知對面月紅 prize 咗，所以我覺得隻雞唔可以話係 mistake 嚟嘅，因為你會諗佢如果佢有月紅，佢最後尾都想衝出嚟殺到我隻角落賽克特㗎啦，所以唔可以話吉隻雞係嗰個失誤嘅地方。分鐘有可能你唔放吉隻雞，你中 stam 嘅時候，你隻比卡超 continue 進攻，你都仲要有能量㗎嘛，即係你要有手牌資源，所以你最後尾終需要吉隻雞。好似而家咁，你中咗粒 stam， 你都要喐動到，你淨係得一個賽符 draw 係唔夠你啟動。
The perfect turn for Gabrielle preceding this one. And the draws will be big now. It's just 2 draws with that coin bonus when it's in the active
起碼需要一粒鋼 N 去 lock out 對面隻索，或者有冇老大指令殺佢後面嘅水霧都得。Energy 哇有喎 ，OK 比較少 EX 都可以進攻。比卡超會比足後排更加好嘅，因為打比卡超對面隻索嘅要求係會再要大啲，對面隻索嘅要求就變相要上埋 N 啊。
Now Gabrielle will have to find a way to respond. The disruption didn't work, but now the draws to find the win. Can he do it? It's a big turn ahead.
我上索羅，我以為佢會直接上 N 添，因為反正都 free retreat 嘅有場地。佢上索羅未點樣上粒？點樣上能量呢？因為佢要用嗰個道具上能量。
Even then, it's a tough situation. But Gabrielle has to work towards their couple last prizes too here. With no energy in play, it's tough.
Yeah, that Pikachu EX, the Resolute Heart, really denying a knockout this moment. Also, the Bravery Charm, putting up to 250 HP, helps a little bit. But being able to deny a one-hit knockout forces so many resources out of Gabrielle. You can only play 1 supporter per turn, so the Janine Secret Art in combination with the boss's orders isn't possible. The counter catcher isn't live right now. They are equal on prize cards. And what
收翻起，等對面唔會有120嘅 target。
To his Petron TX and look to have a gusting supporter on the next turn to win the game, hoping that Fuguan has no outs to close here. Not impossible though. We could try and get a Golden Go EX attacking.
射翻上去唔得喎，佢一定要佢我就咁撤退跟住再射翻就都得，係射翻上去都得嘅。所以佢會直接上隻白龍簡單啲。好，佢揀咗用個佛道博士收翻，睇嚟佢呢 round 係應該唔齊卡去 lock out 嗰兩 prize。唔齊卡 lock out 嗰兩 prize。
The card came out back in Rebel Clash over 5 years ago.
咁啊，交咗個機會俾賽符嗰邊啦。賽符有冇可能可以用賽一嘢爆開佢隻索啦？老大啦，跟住要有啲執 N 嘅工具啦。佢仲需要有冇呢？我老大係有嘅。老大係有嘅，不過係爭有冇執 N 嘅工具啫。
5 is the combination here to knock out that Petrunt EX. Only having 190 hit points, so we have to manually attach to our Golden Go EX, as well as find a superior here. We're going to use the Pokegear first to thin the deck, hopefully,
用推車展開好似順暢啲喎，好多都係推車，就用推車展開。好，直接可以揀一個 trainer。一張 trainer 係唔夠嘅，佢需要更多嘅 trainer。
To complete the combination, and it will be that golden go in the active, ready to swing in just a moment.
好，佐爾有冇夾？
Is it there? Earthen Vessel
could easily
OK， 大地容器。
We can thin any energy of the deck. I know we thinned plenty with those.
大地容器闊地入面仲有冇 energy？
Are there any remaining in the deck, or is it just one draw? I don't think one draw does it, unless Earthen Vessel has any energy remaining in the deck.
Well, I think that's going to be the case now. You've got to check those energy in the discard pile.
We can search with Genesect TX. We have the option.
數下自己 energy 到底夠唔夠？有大地容器，但係個 deck 入面可能 energy 都唔係剩低好多嘅，其實得翻一個 energy 啫。
Energy retrieval has to be found here off of one card. Coin bonus come in clutch.
Go EX so often looking towards this card to close the game. It's superior or bust here. Have to imagine Gabriel has the winning combination on the next turn if it's not found from this
後面賽服仲有一個 draw。
Just checking, always important to check. 190 hit points on the
有冇
that will be what it takes.
一個夾就夠啦。
Oh, tense moment right here, Joe.
This is everything we're going. Is there any other option before we have this one card draw? I don't see it. We need the boss's orders as a supporter to push
有冇神 draw？
pressure him out the way.
一個夾。
So it has to be superior and it has to be now.
Just working out what to do. Is it better to Arva now, play it safe, rely on the missed opportunity here? There is the prime
OK，
catcher.
佢揀頂尖捕捉器。
Well, that would guarantee more draw as well. 2 draw from that coin bonus. Great vision here from Fuguan. Not only will that thinner card that's not superior energy retrieval out the deck, but it will give you an extra 2 cards. So going to commit to the play at this moment.
兩張卡，可唔可以？有。超級能量回收，夾。先搶個 game 1。
Keep these outs open. They've been held the entire time to keep Iron Hands EX as a
到底有冇啱啱猛雷股般嘅運氣咧？
We've already spent the retreat, but the prime catcher allows us to push away the Golden Go EX.
I need to shuffle my deck more.
No. Just confirming here with the players, making sure everything is done fairly. In these tense moments, this is something we often see in the Pokémon TCG. You could think for hours about every decision in these high-pressure moments. But the players will be looking to try and conclude the game in either of their next turns. Whether it's now for Fuguan or Gabriel will look to try and do it next turn. And it will be the prime catcher committing to the play. Needs to draw 2.
關鍵啦！
Coin bonus. Golden go from the bench into the active. Will it be now Fuguan?
超級能量回收有。
Not sure what's happened there. That is
大鑊。
superior energy retrieval, but not how you want to see it at this
有一張牌反轉咗 shuffle， 咁雖然點都唔會抽到呢張卡嘅，但係哇呢下唔知點判決咧，大鑊啦
Give us a moment and we'll keep you as up to date as possible. But this is this moment in the game number 1 of the seniors finals.
唔知點判咧？
One draw to win this game number 1. It's only the superior energy retrieval that can do it.
應該唔會太大嘅罰嘅，我估應該還好啊！呢個 mistake 未到好大嘅問題。 應該都係佢 keep 住抽翻啱啱頭嗰兩張，又剩低嗰啲再 shuffle 翻。我覺得應該唔會 price， 應該未到咁嚴峻。哇！如果咁樣罰兩 price， 跟住佢一睇啱啱嗰兩張卡，大鑊日將係 energy gap 嚟嘅，哇！ 哇！真係終極瞓唔着，終極噩夢。呢下俾人灌輸，然後抽嗰兩隻卡裏面有一張係能量夾嚟嘅，真係終極噩夢。好啦，細心等待裁判嘅判決啦，大家。我講右邊個選擇 Gabriel 咧，我都唔記得咗佢贏過幾多次世界冠軍。睇下中國嘅選手可唔可以阻止佢哋再攞世界冠軍嘅步伐啦？對手有 cut 嘅喎，係啊，對手有 cut 嘅，不過可能有時真係睇唔到有一張反轉咗咁樣，所以我估應該唔會罰得太重。我覺得罰得重嘅原因係佢覺得個選手有真係作弊嫌疑，係特登嘅咁先會罰得重咯。如果唔係，如果我覺得即係喺個角度覺得佢唔小心嘅話，我覺得係好普通嘅罰嘅啫，應該係。反轉嗰一張仲要係夾，唉，尷尬。不就算唔係夾乜都好啦，都係會有判罰嘅。一次咁少咧，成日見佢上決賽台，定係佢喺其他嘅 championship 都有贏過，都好似見過好多次咯已經。4 victories at regionals.
Only needed 2 for the perfect season as well.
Exactly, so wiped out his own regional victories, which is absurd to say, for his championship point total, capping out the maximum. Gabriel truly is a prodigy. One of the best players we've ever seen, regardless of division.
我應該冇事，冇事 ，keep 住抽翻嗰兩張嘅，我估係。然後剩低嘅 deck shuffle 俾個 warning， 應該冇事。
It shows you how strong these seniors are. You know, the coaching, the support, and for Gabriel, he's got his brother to test with and improve. And for Guan, an incredible feat to be coming here at the second season. His region to compete, and there it will be.
有夾啊！佢都真係有哇！如果係因為罰 prize， 跟住最後尾嗰兩張係夾，哇！真係終極噩夢。好彩冇罰到個 prize。有啲俾嗰個反轉嗰張卡打斷咗個氣氛節奏。如果佢冇打斷，直接抽嗰兩張，應該係興奮好多嘅。大家嗰下嘅狀態都冷靜下來。睇下 Gabriel 可唔可以追翻個 Game 2，定係中國嘅選手打破Gabriel 攞冠軍嘅夢？係咪衛冕？我查下佢今年嘅戰績先。
Attack less from Fuguan that took him to the victory. Gabriel took the first 2 knockouts onto Joltix and was able to set up for the knockout on the Pheasant Difficulty, a prime target for many of these decks. Take away the draw from Flip the Script, and it was with that poison package he was able to do so.
Yeah, such a vital one-off inclusion, allowing the Enzorok, which typically is known for having weak damage output, being in range of the Pheasant Difficulty, combining it with the unfair stamp as well. It felt like timing was crucial for both players in the game. Gabriel gave himself this window of opportunity. There was no guarantee of a Pikachu response KO here.
Gabriel 今年係大滿貫嘅狀態啊！啱啱啊藍講，佢係攞咗3個 IC 嘅冠軍，NAIC、LAIC 同埋 UIC。攞埋 World Champ 就即係大滿貫。上年係世賽嘅第3、第4名，Top 4。 23年嘅世賽冠軍。
And get your hands on some of these amazing artworks using that code WCS25 TCGL. But our players are
睇下今年機票可唔可以大滿貫啊？拎埋世賽，咁係咪同阿 Talk 一樣爭最後一份砌圖？通常咧咁樣爭最後一份砌圖都會有悲劇發生嘅喎，就一直完成唔到嗰塊砌圖嘅咁。啊，係對手洗翻張卡更加唔會有 penalty 啦。
Quick sharp as we start to see some prize cards. The PAL pad and the Super Rod, some reloading options which can be handy. Also the second copy of the Toad School in the prize cards as well. Meaning that Gabriel has to try and keep track of this one and keep it as safe as possible, knowing that it's a great stage 1 Pokemon that can evolve up and slow down the Golden Go EX opportunities.
Well, Toad School did not have a factor in the last game. It didn't come out and protect the recovery of energy that we saw at the end with superior energy retrieval, and it was the Iron Hands EX we see in play for Fuguan that blocked that off.
Wow.
And meant it wasn't possible.
到電笛要飛啦，個 hand 好似零喐喎，下 round 都係準備填粒 N 到你喎，睇嚟佢終於要飛了嗎？
That's the price of success for Gabriel. So he is still going through those motions, trying to keep a level head, knowing that he did all he could in that game number 1, put himself in a great position, didn't quite close out those final few turns. He still has to employ a similar strategy, you would think, as he did in that game number 1, possibly finding access to that Toad Scroll quicker could be a little bit useful, but it still has the 120 hit points either way. So is always in range of that Ampy very much. As we see a second Buddy Pop-in into the pass. Gabriel not able to have the great
起晒啲索仔，然後好似要過香啦。
But at least gets access to a few of these basic Pokemon eyeing up for next turn.
Well, it was the energy last time that was limiting factor, not being able to get those attachments in early. So
哇，係咪特登使出嚟放喺中間？哇！但係咁樣嘅話，個對手都要睇到嗰張卡係夾先有得特登使出嚟喎，即係佢洗牌嘅時候已經特登睇到嗰張卡係夾喎，即係唔敢講話係咪特登啊？我偏信係唔小心多啲先嘅，唔知係咪啲超技術。好，我有張小光，咁就有得展開。我以為佢個 hand 瓜到喐唔到，要填 hand 過香，都起碼有得上 hand 先啦。
The bad news of these prize cards because Mike, there's 2 Golden Go EX in the prizes right now, and he only plays 3 copies. So that could be a huge issue as we try and progress through the game. Fuguan was only able to win that game number 1 because he had multiple Golden Go EX in play, coin bonusing towards the win. That could be a huge challenge for him in this game too.
You mentioned how important these 2 archetypes, the Joltic Box and the Golden Go EX, were to combine together as they come.
會有小光就起碼可以揾到阿妹出嚟切去，同埋蜘蛛出嚟上 N， 跟住攞埋麥勒頓就可以拉埋隻而家超出嚟啦。
To close out the game, and Miraidon Tandem Unit, an amazing ability, one of the first cards we saw in the Scarlet and Violet era, and it has been able to show its power throughout its tenure.
It's like not opting to grab the Pikachu EX in this instance, and we'll just be powering up the Iron Hands, you would think, with the Jolting Charge. Pikachu EX was so vital in that game number 1, but not found in this case. That it's going to be loading up Iron Hands, possibly some energy to the Miraidon EX itself.
似係冇拉到比卡超出嚟喎，可能佢揀用麥勒頓打，麥勒頓都係幫手清咗對面啲210血，呢兩派士嘅吉字雞，或者最後佢如果見到對面有淘汰狼啦，幫手清淘汰狼。
Splattered about all over those Pokemon. Miraidon prepping for an attack in the future as Enzorok will be beginning the draw.
We have a couple Enzorowak already, which is fantastic. Getting us trading is exactly what Gabriel wants to see. So it makes up for the fact that there was no TM evolution early on here. And begin seeing more of this deck.
後二，哇咁多部分起手 3個部分。OK 輸。
Able to be reduced by the ends castle that's just been thrown into play here. So we will see a fresh 6 cards from INO before making any other action.
再 trade 細個意先。
allows you to filter through your deck. You shuffle your hand and put it on the bottom of your deck and draw cards equal to the number of prize cards remaining. So early on that will be close to 6. Towards the end you can force your opponent to have 1, 2 or 3 card hands, and it will just be past there. No tempo from Gabriel.
咁就電爹呢邊又先遲得點啦，有個感激放大先。
And Iron Hands EX is able to defend against all of the attacks on Gabriel's
甚至佢唔感激放大呢一 round 再攞多隻比卡超出嚟，再差 N 我都覺得係 OK。咁睇下佢會揀，可能直接攞出嚟再上 N 會再穩陣啲添，我覺得可能。如果你直接話感激放大完之後，再展開都係有啲困難。OK， 最好啦，如果有波收達，咁啊，因為可以有2個感激放大嘅 target， 咁就會抵諗啲。個感激放大就可以用到2次就有呢個效率多啲。OK。 哇！佢中意由上面開始攞開。
It's now all on Gabriel to try and restabilize and take the game back. The Toad Scroll is in play.
可以進攻到未咧？其實覺得冇能量都係尷尬㗎嘛。
What can you do at this point, Gabriel? Show us that world champion ability you showed so well in Yokohama.
Step 1 seems to be unfair stamp. Immediately searched from the Arven here.
好，呢個 stem 要好幫到佢，因為佢好缺呢個，好缺起到能量落霧，然後再要 PP 上咧，有得起能量，哦，咁直接手田啫，有得起能量添。好，而且 stem。 唔係 unfair stem 5張，到底可唔可以揾到能量加 EP 掣啦？揾到之後，仲要揾到隻怪先至夠進攻喎，所以佢要打傷隻鐵手都仲要有個白龍啦。
Gabriel will have a few trades after these 5 cards, so still we will be developing this hand, but his ball position is still looking rather shoddy.
個能量係有啦，因為我見到好似有大地容器，咁可以 trade 到啲 energy 落去個起牌區。
Well, the Janine's secret art would be a great find at this point, but I believe 1 is prized, so we'll make it harder to accelerate energy into play at this point. At the bottom of those prize cards, so may see it after a knockout, but at this stage could be the difference between swinging this turn and not.
Gabriel hoping that this active Pokemon can be a decent sponge. I'm not sure anything else is worthwhile putting onto this board. We've already used our disruption and we're hoping for the best here.
好，睇嚟係冇啦。冇攻擊，要過 turn 啦。
If you can't take a knockout, you could go back into Joltik, then you can use Tandem Unit. Grab that Pikachu and start loading up energy onto that Pokemon. So if Figuan doesn't want to go aggressive, it doesn't have the hand to do so, he still could be developing his board.
但爭一個能量。
The Miraidon can even get the Pikachu out of this stage, so a wonderful position for Figuan. Looking incredibly dominant in this match. We know the matchup is one he's confident in. He said he's had the practice against the list. His friends helped him out, and he feels confident. And you can see exactly why the lines are there, and he's followed them perfectly through these games. And on the other side, it's just not quite going as Gabriel would have planned, even though he's seeing so many cards with that trade.
Flip the script into the past then. Gabriel holding on to a ton of options.
冇諗過佢直接就咁 trade， 我以為佢有大地容器，佢會先攞2張卡出嚟，然先攞2粒 N 出嚟，然後用粒 N 去做 trade 會再好似感覺穩陣啲。冇諗過佢直接唔攞出嚟，直接就咁 trade。比卡超
all in play here at the World Championship. Every set from base set up to the Black Bolt and White Flare. And yet we see the combination of that Miraidon's tandem unit
好切
with
佢啦，
a later card coming into the game. That jolting charge
手甜，
from the
跟
Joltic
住
will be
重
used
新
right
上
now
N，
to finish off the turn, and a setup turn from Fuguan. Despite taking an early knockout, now just looking to stabilize.
Looking like those prizes are already mapped out for Fuguan. See a multi-prize Pokemon in the active, and go Pikachu EX. See a smaller single-prize Pokemon, you can hunt it down with Iron Hands. Fuguan happily 2 attacks away from closing the victory here. Gabriel with a mountain to climb. Kicks off his turn with an earthen vessel, discarding a Cleffer.
反轉嗰下懷疑對面識使可以，但係你會 cut 完，之後
Start launching back some pressure.
哇！
And it is at this
咁
point
識玩，真係
feel
唔
the
知係咪
pressure
咁
when you've
挑
lost
技術啦。
game 1 in a final, and you know you're on the back foot. You have to resolve some crazy
再
scenarios.
一個
and
trade，
who better to do it than Gabrielle? Unfair stamp didn't do enough. A turn for Fuguan to still set up just means these later turns are going to get harder and harder. The options will be reduced.
再一個
Too
trade，
many knockouts to take, and it is that energy full board on the other side staring down the end Zoroark that's not able to take a big knockout on many of these Pokemon. Only the Latiasi X in range of that end Zoroark, so needs a gust here, needs an attachment.
呢下係咪要捉隻皮卡超出嚟 A 啊？可能係最好啦，因為我捉拉蒂亞斯 ，OK 搶 prize 啊決定，因為我諗我係咪要處理隻比卡超？
Responding with a 2-prize knockout, leveling up Game 2 of the Seniors Finals.
Incredible knockout from Gabrielle, navigated the board well, hoping that Fuguan doesn't have a way back into this, but we know there's something in that hand that is so good at coming back into the game. We have an attacker ready to go. It's whether you can set up for future turns, and what better way to set up for future turns?
最後可能應該要靠絕語紅啦。 絕語紅去打甩埋佢嘅鐵手同埋呢個馬頓又好，或者吉之雞又好，感覺應該係唔可能再用索羅打落去。好分，應該重新鋪翻嗰啲索取領。
Some semblance of draw power starting to come together as he works towards this late game.
Imigu 個名有來源嘅，佢攞諧音 Give me goals 俾錢我索取領。
Iron Hands to close the game on the Toad Scroll on the bench of Gabrielle, or can start looking once again towards a Golden Go EX late game if Gabrielle feels the pressure to pick up the Toad Scroll as he did in game 1.
Well, we've got to bear in mind that Topaz Bolt will discard 3 energy for the knockout, 300 damage
on
the
block
end Zoroark. Fuguan, 2 prize cards taken, 2 remain. Gabrielle needs to navigate this end passage here perfectly. Does have great endgame options to attack with, whether it's that Petrunt EX or the Blood Moon Ursaluna, which was so unfortunately prized last game, and there it is. It's going to come down with the energy straight away.
Well, we see Nesmall first. Going to go through the motions here, Gabrielle. As we know, so clinical, making sure his outs are always in his favor.
有冇
out the Petrunt EX first here? Said Mike, there's already
喐
blood
乜干擾咧？
combination.
我見佢有反擊槍嘅。
So when you take out Iron Hands EX, that's allowing you to
佢有反擊槍嘅話，其實就應該可以捉佢隻，捉佢隻，捉佢隻，捉佢隻感擊放大出嚟，係啦，有啦。
Gabrielle's found a really good spot this game.
有冇再加埋干擾咧？
So maybe even some disruption at this moment. Blood Moon Ursaluna, a great way to
好，佢哋投降啦，因為佢知道佢冇辦法再進攻攞到 prize。好，月月紅今次生性冇 prize 啦，放到手1比1。 緊張啦！
These are the moments, Mike, where champions reveal themselves. A game down in the finals. The pressure mounting. Fuguan with just 2 prize cards remaining. Gabrielle found the perfect line removing all the energy from play. The threat of the Iron Hands EX was looming. Gabriel picked it apart with the Blood Moon Ursaluna EX so capably. Thanks to that tech stage 1 Pokemon, the Toad Scroll has been so vital to get him into the finals as we see how it played out in this game number 2.
Well, the early turns looked perfect for Figuan, taking a knockout not only on a one-prize Pokemon, turning it into 2 with Ampy very much.
咁樣時候睇翻咧，佢個攻擊放大第一個 prize 係咪 kill 佢嘅水母係最好？咁起碼呢一 round 佢仲有得贏嘅方案就係可以插翻隻菜貨出嚟。Hea 翻開佢隻葉月紅，而家佢就即係放嗰隻水母一馬，最後尾陷入咗冇任何攻擊手段。咁就係咪第一 round 直接清咗佢水母係最好
？In that game number 1 here, it made it too easy for Gabriel to nullify the threats of Golden Go in the later stages whilst also taking out that threat of Iron Hands. So often in the Pokemon trading card game, it's about having a backup strategy for when your active Pokemon is knocked out so that you have something to do on the following turn. But Gabriel able to neutralize one, knock out another, put him in a great closing board state. And Figuan recognized that. Suddenly, we're moving on to a game 3 to decide our senior division world champion.
As you can see there, Gabriel Fernandez did sustain a loss
1-1決勝局啦。
Swiss stage, but was able to beat 2 Joltik Box and 4 Golden Go.
大家撐邊多？撐 N 索攞冠軍定係撐呢個賽富電 box 冠軍？
So far, will he be able to take the first TCG victory for mainland China? Only 2 years.
唔知裁判係咪訓話佢哋？你哋洗牌小心啲啊！唔好再搞咁多嘢出嚟啊！
What looked like the weaker start ended up having the best outcome. Blood Moon Ursaluna being in the prize cards, of course, in game number 1 meant that he couldn't make the line he just did. So we're getting into the action in game number 3 here. Make some noise in the arena. No! It's an attached pass.
OK， 呢個先攻係慘到裂開，淨係填咗粒 N。 一隻索底都鋪唔到 ，so sad。
Whereas for Figuan, he has the Miraidon EX in play with that tandem unit, can start to set up the Joltik and power up those key attackers.
At the crucial moment, Gabriel with just 1 card in hand
就俾咗多啲更多時間俾連爹呢邊。 無論做養成定係搶 prize， 時間都多咗好多啦。都有話題性冇錯。無論 N 索冠軍定係話中國選手攞冠軍個話題性都好似好大啊！即係如果呢個係 Master 決賽嘅個話題性，仲加衝擊啲添。
That Skyliner to move this Miraidon EX out the way. Equally, if there's Arven in the hand, we can use Air Balloon as well to get into our Joltik. It shouldn't be too difficult to power up a threatening Pokemon here.
Well, Figuan teasing us by not showing us that hand, and there is outs, as you mentioned.
攞咗感激放大同埋蜘蛛仔。唔係，攞阿妹做撤退啦。
With that Skyliner ability, so important for the mobility of this deck. As well as another Nest Ball in hand, ready for either now or future turns. Pretty much got everything he needs. The energy onto the Joltik would allow him to get going. But we'll be playing that Nest Ball to find all of those important cards at this stage. The Gimmighoul from Golden Go. And pretty much the perfect time for Figuan early on here.
好，力快撤退，上輪。
Miraidon EX might even be powered up in this stage. Be threatening the Petron. If you've caught Gabriel on a weak hand, you could try and put 2 energy onto that Miraidon EX and put the pressure on that way. The Iron Hands EX is always tempting though.
And could just Jolting Charge again next turn. There's no harm in doing so.
亦得幾好，呢個多指教，啱 you very much.
Putting any single prize Pokemon in play, but with that TM evolution, there is a world where
反而外國少啲咁樣講話多指教，即係比賽前，佢哋反而多講話係 good luck 嘅就咁。
And the late game will be a key disruption piece for Gabriel, as it doesn't
One
look like
Ultra Ball, Mike.
Not ideal.
You're telling me. He's putting it mildly, getting rid of 2 and Zoroark.
如果淨係得一隻索羅，係咪唔玩啊？
We're being forced into a grasping draw here.
好，仲要係淡到皮寶寶添。
This Petron TX, we can attach to it so that we can move it once again. We're power panning back in the INO. We'll be drawing a huge amount of cards here with the grasping draw. In fact, it's the full 7. Gabriel navigated an awkward hand as best he could. Grasping draw, a great way to top back up on 7 cards. By no means ideal, but still in the game, and he'll have 7 fresh cards to put himself in a better position.
Well, last game we saw that Iron Hands knockout early on and thought, oh my goodness, that's Gabriel out the game, but he was able to come back. And so recognizing that here and recognizing how important the grasping draw will be to have the perfect turn next turn as 7 cards into hand and the turn ends through the attack. And now Figuan will be thinking, what is the plan here? I have not seen this scenario before. This is an unfamiliar deck with an unfamiliar start.
係乜都冇啊，點算啊？點算？
Does he play it safe and go for another jolting charge, or does he get aggressive and take a knockout on that Cleffer?
Well, we see the tandem unit, which might indicate that it's time for Pikachu EX to make an appearance once again.
世界末日呢壇嘢，對面好開心嘅你仲未鋪到索。
With additional manual attachments, it feels really good to power up this Pikachu.
哇！呢壇嘢索真係走遠了。
Team Rocket's Petrol in the hand that could grab an item card, or potentially a supporter for the next turn as well.
Great navigation here from Figuan. Not being phased by the slow start of the opposition can often be quite tempting to get aggressive when your opponent has a slow start. In this case, slowing things down. Oh, will be going for the aggressive knockout with the Iron Hands EX. 直接同你搶。
Pikachu going to be manually attached.
其實佢 hand 仲有呢個 catcher， 佢一鋪怪佢都仲可以即刻，佢即係對面一鋪怪佢都仲可以即刻用 catcher 去捉佢啲索，然後最後尾用比卡超衝2 prize 都 OK。佢下 round 之後手田都比卡超就越嚟越齊。
Should be plenty of darkness energy, but all such cards will be integral this turn, Mike. I think honestly we might need to try and.
我覺得電 deck 嗰邊唔算話係太唔係太卡嘅 deck 嚟，電 deck 嗰邊算係啲比較容易展開嘅 deck 啦，已經係。Oh no no no！ 而家需要嘅卡就係電 N 或者降 N。 OK， 有派拍，有 energy。哦，做乜唔用派拍揾 N 嗰啲嘅？咁佢而家填一個能量，然後加奇樹干擾你，你又可能打唔出嘅喎，噴優。哇！
Pivoting into the end Zoroark, poisoning with subjugating change, going into the Blood Moon Ursaluna E-switch combination. We have the Professor Turret scenario to pick up our end Zoroark, which means we can get a response KO here. Gabriel is not out yet.
And that response KO, using that Blood Moon for 240 damage.
佢係咪有 N switch 嗰類？即啲 round 打出啦，已經完 game。 但係上彎點解唔填 N？ 上彎好似冇唔填 N 嘅理由啊！上彎係咪興奮得滯唔記得填 N 啊，大佬？哎呀，點解會唔填 N 㗎？已經焦定頭，樂極生悲喎！有冇 energy 啊？ 但個問題係咁，即係比較超點樣上兩 N 啊？有冇啲咩能量轉移嗰啲朋友？冇咧，真係樂極生悲喎！突然間你俾佢一個唔覺意咁去搞你 hand， 跟住一個反擊槍捉你出嚟打死埋你。
superior would be
尷
game,
尬。
but as long as we had access to metal energy, but we don't right now. Somehow, there's no metal here. The only metal energy we've seen is attached to a Joltik right now.
Is there one in deck? The Earthen Vessel could find it out of the deck.
That's not enough to deal with this Blood Moon Ursaluna. 260 hit
嗱，而
points.
家
is
盛
still
起
a
自己
lot.
有 iPad 啦。
Riel, skin of his teeth stuff here. Let's make sure.
好，財富打。
Here, there's that metal energy, which will be used to attach to the Golden Go. The question really is there a superior energy?
夠唔夠能量呢？
Fuguan will be making history here,
哦
and it
唔
looks
夠
to be a jolting charge. No access to the knockout on this occasion. Is going to have to take a step back and
Okay.
prep for a future turn.
Well, keeping
哦，對面應該 call game 啦，隻比卡超
creeping closer with Pikachu EX.
有能量嘅話，
Gabriel can't just take out in one turn thanks to Resolute Heart.
佢冇辦法一嘢 lock out 對面隻比卡超嘅話咧，其實
Even him with just single prize
點算咧？
options.
佢而家要搞輕啦，然後再加 out 隻比卡超一下啦，
Will just sit there
即係起碼
until
要
the return knockout is required.
起碼要用嘅細怪去摸隻比卡超一下啦。
It's going to be a tough old position to navigate in these final
唉，
turns.
頭
Can't
痛，
even leave damage on board. We don't
好
have
頭痛。
anything like that monkey dory. We don't have the ability to finish off. Maybe even a scratch into the Pikachu might be the only option at this
咪
stage.
要
to set
細
it
索
up for a
摸佢一
couple
下
of。future turns.
That's definitely
好，
the
搞
best
輕
way
係
to
有
start
搞
it.
輕，
That's all we have. There is energy switch in the hand. Move on to the
energy switch
lower.
接落去隻細索度啦，要細索去摸隻比卡超一下啦，講真。
Try and two-shot the Pikachu EX.
OK，
In combination with a bit of disruption, that could be. a
艾歐奴之後要反擊
But no
槍
one's here. We'll need to find it on the other side of this Iono.
And how does Gabriel move this Blood Moon Ursaluna EX is the last question. Well, we have the Petra
冇反擊槍呢，
Can we find
都
the counter-catcher here from this Iono?
都夾緊同執嘢冇乜分別啦。
Is there counter-catcher? Yes,
喂，有
there is.
喎，
Oh wow, Gabriel Fernandez always finds a way. Got that scratch
Oh.
from the Enzo Rua to put
Okay.
some damage on the Pikachu with Resolute Heart, unable to one-hit knock it out. The only way around it
好一
here
嘢
is 20 damage
先。
now, and hope to finish it off later. No
講
other attacker
講
on
真，
Figuan's
對面
board.
都係 Oh my God！I don't know，sorry， 冇意義啊！I don't know，佢兩次 I don't know 對面都係 Boss Order 同埋嗰個 energy 嘅夾夾。哦，突破，阻止咗今年啊 Gabriel 嘅大滿貫之路。
The underdog goes undefeated and spoils the Fernandez fairy tale, and now joins him in the ranks as world champion.
好冷靜嘅選手，贏咗都係好冷靜，個感覺好似胸有成竹嘅本身已經而家贏咗，冷靜，反而見下 Gabriel 個樣有啲唔開心。
With that lucky Charizard, definitely came in throughout the tournament. Undefeated. What a performance.
Talk about nail biter. Coming down to a 3-game series. Game 1, as let's see how it played out. This was so
interesting.
getting the early Iron Hands EX from Fuguan kicking off. Well, this is actually game 3 here. Gabriel with the weaker starts. The Prime Catcher pickup allowed the Iron Hands to get into the mix, take a bunch of prize cards, and crucially the Golden Go EX still stuck on the board here. A bigger threat and some additional draw power. Ampu very much going down to just 2 prize cards remaining in quick succession.
Enjoyed how both players played patiently, didn't look to force knockouts, were comfortable with the idea of just setting up.
強度都有少少分嘢。哦，你嘅意思係指兩個 deck 嘅強度？張勝係冇咁好嘅，即係對面有啲秒殺你或者搶你個底嘅兩 price， 但係係咪話強度兩個爭好遠呢？唔應該未到話爭好遠，但係我又話雙勝冇咁好。
How many times have we heard bosses' orders for the game? And once again, the World Championships decided by such a crucial supporter card. What a crazy deck that we've just seen winning the World Championships. Who would have thought it, Mike?
Oh.
Many may have expected Golden
Go
Go
EX.
Some may have expected
準備睇 Master 決賽啦，睇完大家係咪準備翻工啦？你見到幾多個嚟緊等陣朝頭早要翻工嘅朋友？
An unexpected synergy, that metal energy
Master 決賽係多龍打女王。
In that early knockout, the Golden Go able to clean up the weaknesses of the Iron Hands and the Pikachu, which often find it hard at the end to take big knockouts. Golden Go a key draw engine too.
你話中國嘅選手係會用普通話回答問題啊，定係英文都唔錯，用英文答呢？
What a phenomenal season, though. We can't doubt that he's been a force, completely awe-inspiring to watch every time we've seen him in those finals. Yes, we've seen him get fortunate at times. Yes, we've seen him play brilliantly throughout. It wasn't your day-to-day, but you're going to come back in the Masters division and be a huge threat.
Wow, what a performance. And the crowd here, you guys were behind it the whole way. A tense match. At any moment, it could have gone either way. A missed piece would have meant the other player raising ahead, but it was Fuguan who settled down in key moments when the cards were missed and recognized the safe play.
沙 gel 一盤頭先，都係，一隻沙打多龍呢個 matchup 我都係覺得沙係優少少，都撐沙嗰邊嘅，希望唔好唔小心登咗沙內度，收到完全起唔到俾當兩個 game 咁樣，係我撐沙嗰邊嘅。大家咧撐沙定撐多龍咧？
Well, I think it will be one to watch later, but I want to find out now from our champion. Give it up one more time for Fuguan Liao!
Here I am with your champion, Fuguan Liao. Now, you're here representing China. You were called an underdog. Did you know that this is how this match was going to go?
先恭喜你一下，你是代表那个中国去比赛。 然后我们还没有认识你，你有没有觉得你会成为那个世界冠军呢？
就是因为第2次参加世界大赛嘛，感觉就是
個翻譯仲緊張過佢本人，仲緊張過冠軍。
冠軍就覺得自己一開始就目標是打進 Day 2。
Yeah, he says it's not easy coming here, and he never thought about being world champion.
Well, now you are the world champion, so how do you feel in this
眼多龍大軍。
所以你現在感覺如何？
我感覺挺開心的，就是因為畢竟拿了冠軍哦。
Yeah, he's very happy because yes, it is first place.
I would be happy too, and I know a lot of people here are happy for you as well. Is there anything that you want to say to the crowd or to anyone at home?
你有沒有誰想感謝呢？
我首先要感謝我父母嘛，因為他們特別支持我。然後我還要感謝我們 VG 戰隊，然後他們的大哥哥他們都會跟我打牌。然後還要感謝我的那些朋友啊，比如說什麼9區、白 Chester， 很多人他們都會跟我打牌。然後對，然後還要感謝所有人。
There's a lot of people, but yeah, mainly his mom and the league that he plays at, and there's a lot of friends that who he practiced with, who helped him all along the way. So thank you.
哦，果然英文版嘅翻譯係好總結啦，佢明明噏咗好多個人名，多謝陪佢打得啲嘅。不過都係好難翻譯啲人名嘅，所以係都係咁嘅翻譯㗎啦。
And with that, it is time for your Pokémon trading card game Masters Final.
不過起碼提下佢隊戰隊，不過可能佢係咪唔提得戰隊名？佢都比較提佢個 VG 戰隊嗰樣，佢會以為佢會翻譯都翻一翻。係啊。試啊！不同環境都照樣上到嚟。而家揀中出到邊個環境啦？151出咗啦，但係唔知佢係咪變幻假面都好似出咗啦，揀中已經。
First, let's hear it for from the USA, Justin Newdorf.
點解佢出嚟嗰個喜感嗰個好想講啲好地獄嘅嘢，佢啱爆出嚟嗰個感覺係即係唔識講嗰種氣，都係唔好講啲咁地獄嘅嘢啦。你好好笑啊！爆出嚟嗰個感覺，調翻轉呢個選手冷靜好多啊！
A few moments with both of you before the match, so I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. Come on close to me. Come close to me. Now, I heard you had been practicing together before this. Can you tell me about that? How did it go?
So basically, we practiced on like Tuesday night at on one of our hotels, and we practiced the matchup, and I was able to make some edits to my deck thanks to my testing against Riley.
That's exciting.
哦，佢哋有賽前練習過。
I don't think the changes are super important into my deck. I think they're just good for his deck in general. And I've already beaten that deck, so if things go right, I can do well.
We're very excited to see how this goes. Thanks for the insight, both of you. We're going to let you take your seats.
好有信心喎，勝利宣言好留聽下點啦，睇下點。
Thank you so much, Anna.
不過如果佢哋賽前練習過咧，哇！如果真係 friend 賽前練習完，跟住大家決賽咁樣對翻咧，嗰個感覺好夢幻。行係你哋講嘅啫，我係話佢好有喜感啊。
Two trainers sit at the peak of our Masters division. They've battled fiercely through the competition. They are now at this moment in time, taking down these rivals, and one prize remains, and it is eternal, the title of World Champion. Everybody in the crowd right now, you are sitting in a real Pokémon stadium. You are a part of this history. You are a part of this match. Let's give it up for our Masters Finals! Of course, here on the casting desk right now, Shelby Boo joined with Kyle Sablehouse. You just saw that bracket. You've heard from our players. They're sitting down. The lights are bright. This is the setup here, Kyle. Are you ready for this match?
We are in an
決
arena
賽
to cast the
重
world
頭戲
championship.
Master，
It does not get much better than this.
等一等先，
Two
殺
incredible
2比0。
players, two amazing decks. Which player will
哇
come out！ on
師兄
top？
登埋波膽喎，登埋2比0添。
Sitting on our left, he is challenging Riley McKay, who was just at the
NAIC 攞個 top 32，冇贏嘅戰績，但係都有 top cut 嘅戰績。咪又變成績最好啲啦，攞個 NAIC 嘅決賽，但都有啲 top cut。
And then he's told he's going to the Masters division. And what does he do with that? He takes his favorite deck all the way to the final table.
有冇撐多龍嘅人咧？而家一堆都係撐沙同反沙大隊，有冇多龍嘅支持者？
Because look, he's sitting at this table right now, facing off against, of course, Riley McKay, who has also been a little bit on the back burner this season too, up until NAIC. And now it just feels like that NAIC final position was his destiny for him now to meet us here.
有我係咁望左邊先選咗我嘅，我就淨係諗起佢啱啱出嚟嗰個畫面。而家諗起嗰個畫面，而家係咁笑。
Keep it nice and clean here between the play. You heard from them already. They've already play tested here for the World Championships up until this point. There's been a couple of tweaks in the decks, but is that going to make a difference in this matchup? I do want to say here, Riley had some difficult matches against Dragapult.
最難搞知唔知係咪？最難搞係，哇！佢即係擺喺皮皮度，要佢有埋瞄去學佢啲技去派死嗰啲嘢，仲難搞。卡3嘅大多龍，我覺得卡3嘅大多龍還好嘅，其實嗰場嘅卡3嘅大多龍，但係佢即係佢都仲有炸嘅方法攞派時都 OK 嘅。
To help with assisting with finding those evolutions, maybe something as impactful as that Neo upper energy that we've seen.
唔係我心地唔好，係個選手出場帶俾我嘅印象太深刻，其實太有 gimmick 啦，真係係。
Yeah, maybe that was all leading up to here for Riley McKay. We're going to have to see how this goes down between these players, but these two decks are absolute titans of our format. These players know these decks well, and these are clean lists too. I mean, there's no gimmicks in them. There is just pure skill sitting behind these decks, piloted by these two players. They are truly at the top of our Masters division here in 2025. And these are polarizing decks. I mean, there's tons of you out in the crowd, I'm sure, that have either piloted or gone against Gardevoir, have piloted or gone against Dragapult, many different lists, many different flavors.
睇都好入戲啊！我喺個畫邊度卡住咗，翻唔到出嚟啊！救命啊！點解要俾我睇到咁忙啊？
We'll have to see which one of these decks will do just that, and we may just be in for a 3-game set.
Oh, I hope so, Kyle. It's always been so exciting here, and how much more exciting could it get in a giant Pokemon stadium for both of these trainers? You're going to see these animations on our floor here, so you can follow along with our match as well. I mean, this is just such a cool experience.
And both players drawing those opening hands, something so important as you think about this all throughout the night, all throughout the tournament. What will that hand look like? Maybe a buddy poppin'.
Let's hope so. I like to feed my Pokemon here. They be eaten. Yeah, I mean that is of course one of the major setup cards in our format at the moment. But there is going to be a lot more than just the setups between these players. There are cards that do change the pace.
哇！有埋 free 天後影，即係型過頭喎。呢個而家嘅技術都應該仲爭少少。要等個 3D 技術再平民化普及啲，而家都應該仲爭少少，未到咁，應該未到咁大型同咁平地做到呢件事。
And to get to this point now is just incredible. So you know, both these players are competing at the top of their game. They're ready for this Masters Finals. They're going to get set up, and we'll see how those intricate decisions come into play in this match.
There's so much to think about, and obviously for both players, it has a different approach for you.
睇翻 replay， 我係基本洗反咗個 gap， 佢哋都冇任何嘅懲罰。
A long battle. You have a great competitor against you who has been to this stage before. Top 8. This is the third time now in what 3 years for him to come back and do this again. So maybe Worlds is just Justin's tournament.
Exactly. I mean, he's been training since.
阿南有冇喺現場睇緊決賽？定係雙開緊？又喺現場睇，又 online 睇緊。
Of course he was.
So even though he's playing my arch nemesis Gardevoir, I still find myself rooting here for Riley McKay.
左邊嘅選手表情真係好有氣。
Gardevoir in his hands, maybe this is going to earn him a world champion title, or Justin will stand in the way of that. Both these players have been playing these decks throughout the season. We're going to see the prize cards. Hopefully nothing too detrimental.
哇！唔係3隻鐘咁慘啊嘛！
Oh my gosh! Can we just stop?
哇！今日啲多龍係〜 係咪注定就係要擺嚟中咯？女王嗰邊就都 OK 嘅，都還好呢個 price 未到最慘喎。但係多龍嗰邊真係，今日啲多龍係咪全部都係 price 嚟喺中間？左邊幾認真係啊，左邊嘅選手認真投入，個投入嘅感。 同啱啱 Senior 嘅對比爭好遠 ，Senior 嗰兩個選手好冷靜，Junior 都係 Junior 嗰兩個都好冷靜，而家 Master 嗰個反而係感覺最投入嗰個。廣東話賽評就，唉，真係都有啲難度啊！呢個都真係有啲難度。咁啊，始終普通話嘅受眾係多啲，咁都係啊。特別係同埋官方嘅大使一齊做評述就應該更加 冇乜機會去廣東話嘅賽評。好慘啊！又係左邊多龍又卡你喺中間啊！佢嘅又要好有補分，又要面對呢個卡咗嘅事實啦。麻煩 Camman 大哥可唔可以 focus 佢呢個 search deck 嘅樣，等我哋睇下佢。都發現冇晒多龍騎嘅時候，佢有咩表情咧
？Yeah, this might be a situation for Justin where typically you
哇！
do
點解
have
多
a
龍騎
little
得翻兩
additional
隻
time
嘅？
to set up your Dreepies, establish your cloaks, and draw through your deck as you're sitting behind the itchy pollen
食緊
of
飯，
Purdue.
而家
But now you
LA
only
係幾
have
點咧？
two
睇下
of
先，你
those
係食緊
resources
早
to
餐
draw
定係咩
into.
啊
So do you take a little bit of a different approach?
哦，唔係喎，
Maybe
2點幾
focus
喎，
a
食
bit
緊中午
on your
咯
line like the Duskull here.
就嚟3點啦，都唔係2點幾。
And that's what we saw before here from Justin. We're going to see what those decisions come out to be here. The Badoo and the Dreepy coming from this Buddy Buddy Poffin. They're taking a nice little lunch break here, but not for long as they help out this match. The Badoo here, for everyone joining us that maybe isn't into the trading card game, this card has reigned supreme here in our format. It's just a cute little pollen guy, and he locks down all of your items. And that's not very fun in the trading card game.
Sometimes 10 damage does add up as well. You have just 30 hit points, but that free retreat has been pivotal. Attacking for free, buying time so that you can accelerate energies.
但係講譬如話有翻 Day 1嘅直播都好希望，即係下年都有 Day 1嘅直播。即係 Day 2有啲感覺唔夠喉，即係如果 Day 1都有比賽睇，我諗觀眾都好想睇，係啊，所以希望 Day 1有翻直播咯。其實就 rule 上係話唔好咁樣排洗嘅，即係冇佢都唔係話唔好㗎，佢即係係啊，唔俾我哋咁樣啲咩 in order 咁樣排係唔好嘅。但係其實實際上我哋數牌都會啫。最後尾我覺得 shuffle 翻乾淨，裁判覺得你冇特別排牌嘅嫌疑就 OK 啦。幾時會知下年嘅 WCS 喺邊度搞？通常閉幕禮就會講㗎啦。不過下年嘅 WCS 佢上年已經講咗啦，就都喺美國搞，三藩市啊，好似係。已知26年繼續美國，希望27年去翻一個近啲我哋嘅時區，最好近到係香港嘅時區啊。
Potentially 2 Drew Cloak from play at the same time. Target down lines of the Duskull so that you don't have to deal with the impact of Curse Blast. It can be very pivotal for your strategy.
咁啊，攞秘密箱同衰退。咁啊，女王呢個 man club 咧，如果起得馬騮多啊，真係超級好打啦。跟住又有皮皮，咁啊係咁調箱，皮皮係咁 lock out，真係好好打啦。就唯一就係睇展開得順唔順利嘅啫。
The secret box. It could be anything. It could even be a box. It's got
哦，你概括頭先嗰個係咪出千啫？咁講唔知咧，即係有心定無意。我傾向佢係唔小心嘅。
And it's exactly what you need. Just fill your board, find the ralts and other pieces. So eventually
佢抽到第2張就停咗，佢停咗嗰下就係因為佢見反咗一張喎，所以抽完嗰2張見反咗一張都好正常嘅嗰下反應。仲要係對手洗反咗佢一張卡，咁你話係咪對手一千特登洗反自己個 gap 啊？真係唔知啊呢個。
play into the strategy for Riley to get into some of these evolution Pokemon and accelerate the
好
strategy or just the overall
有秘密
board
箱。
state. But I will mention
係咪得一個演進咧？係咪已經有機會卡咗啲演進呢？
those tool cards down the line. Of course, there's other tool cards in the list for Riley, McKay 2.
好秘密箱抌2粒 N 舒服。神奇糖果卡咗1粒啦，可能唔係咁想抌第2粒喎。
Great resources, but you can also place them in the discard pile. The
好，
early
決定
discard
抌馬騮
of
最後。
psychic energies, I cannot speak to that enough. Against Itchy Pollen, it can be so hard to find the energies and then throw them away. To
And
already
they
see 2 in the
Professor
discard, that means there's potential for some fireworks here pretty soon.
Exactly. That is what we want to see here.
Oh.
That psychic embrace ability of Gardevoir EX. It takes those energies right out of the discard pile.
唔攞架撐可能真係 price 咗，不一張演象 price 咗。
You have to get them in the discard pile first.
我攞個架撐出嚟咧。
With the secret box is huge.
OK，
Of course,
唔攞架撐。
joining them as well. And then we get one of each of these items.
哦，唔係你個架撐已經喺手啦，所以就
We saw Professor's research here for Riley, and now we're seeing the raw
唔使攞啦。
down.
Yeah, this is the way you can play Buddy Buddy Poffin, I suppose. It kind of lines up like that. It's artisan in
係啦，
combination
用
with
一個頭波，用個場地。OK， 原來個演象都起手啦，所以就派咗另一個，咁啊手咗第二個，咁啊冇得落第三個啦。演象
Actually, that's single Curlia. That's a little bit of a problem.
Oh my gosh, yeah, one of those Curliads at the bottom of
有個
the
係
prize cards here for Riley. And just
咁啊
searching
進住一個
through,
先
making。 sure in the deck. That's going to be it, and that's huge news there for Justin. That is information that he now has. One of those Curlia is in the prize cards. So Riley's going to end that turn. Thanks to that TM evolution, it does discard. Now we're back over to
好
Justin.
進到多龍騎啦，
Information for Justin to work with, seeing that
珍貴嘅多龍騎啊，唔係得好多嘅啫。
Once you get a setup and maybe
佢諗緊進前定後，
long time, even a few turns.
進後面有個好處就係，我陣間抽到阿妹，可能佢就唔使棄 N 撤退。
Well, here's one other Pokemon as well off this
所以
Ultra Ball here into
要諗一
one of the
諗進
Drifloats
前
that
定
we
後
still
好。
have access to, which is nice.
好
Of course, we were talking about Recon Directive. It allows
Stadium.
you to look at the top two cards in your deck, and then you get to keep one to your hand, the other goes to the bottom. It's a fantastic way to draw cards, get into more items. We see the Duskull coming down off of that Artisan as well. Stadiums in the TCG can be used between both players. We're here in a stadium now, they're at Artisan right now, and it's getting those Pokemon out of the deck onto the field. Let's talk about this matchup and the board states.
最後會進前面定後面呢
Which way is the momentum swinging, do you think?
？OK， 最後尾都係進前
I
面。
mean, the prize cards are intimidating, but I'm pretty comfortable with Justin's side of the board here. If he has a good draw off of this,
哇！呢個場真係好靚。
You fill up with the Recon Directive, you might see an
現場嘅觀眾應該睇得好開心。
It's difficult with a Munkidori staring you down, but we could see a Dragapult
即係我哋直播就睇到唔多啦，就睇間中 show 下，但係如果現場睇應該睇得好開心。
Right, so you have to sort of outpace your opponent if
用
you
咗
can.
奇
You
書
have to make those big moves,
再用好有冇分
and continue to keep up the pressure. And honestly, Justin is doing
可唔可以
that
掘
just
到一個
fine.
能量同埋掘埋佢最後嘅進化呢？最後嘅多龍騎呢？
Riley had, it's gone. It's shuffled up, put at the bottom of the deck, and both of them draw cards up to the prize cards represented on both their boards. So 6 new cards. From that, we saw the Buddy Buddy Poffin found for Justin. That's what's getting him all of these Pokemon out on the field. And I'm just saying, Kyle, when Justin is going with a board like this, he seems unstoppable.
Yes, it's lining up pretty nice. You
警察
see
指
the
令
buddy looking for a little more help. His hand has a lot of great
不過有能量啦，其實咁啊，反而最想掘應該掘到多龍騎最開心。
along with the Dragapult to go along with Boss's orders and Iono now. But you don't have
好
Dracloak
撤
set up. You
退
need to protect this Pokemon. Run
重新
as
填
fast
翻個
as you
能量
can。to Badoo and save yourself from the items.
Run, hide behind the 3-inch tall Badoo. Hey, it works somehow in the TCG. We have the inch
Item lock.
fallen. There's no energy attachment needed to get that move across. 10 damage flying over to Riley's side of the field. But more importantly, item cards are locked down for Riley. Anything with the item at the top left corner of the card cannot be used at this moment in time. That's going to slow
哇
things down. But Gardevoir EX is now being evolved into
舒服
Psychic Embrace is online.
item lock 大家都進化到，
Safe to at least
舒服。
see that there's no Boss's orders on the other side from Riley. This deck does not play that.
哇！舒服第二次有埋隻
We have 2 psychic energies
貓
sitting
叫
in the
尾
discard pile.，
喂咁舒服嘅咩事啊？
If you push that damage counter
哇！
over
仲可以
to
一
this
嘢
Dracloak
反
here,
翻死
you
佢
could
隻
potentially knock this out in
item
combination
lock 都
with
得
the
喎，喂
Scream
大
Tail.
佬。
It all lines up.
I mean, this Scream Tail is absolutely nuts in this. Here's Psychic Embrace, allowing for that 2 energy attachment here. For each damage counter, 20 damage is able to be dealt anywhere for Riley, and that is huge here. You want to eliminate those liabilities that could be coming back at you, and that is
舒服嘅
going to be
呢 round
so bad.
呢個騎士好似揀牌咁喎，就嚟係。
Which damage you'd like to move? You have some on the screen tell you could. You can't really mess with that. But one damage counter from the Monkey Dory is nice to see because you can move the rest of those later on, especially if you're targeting down a second Dracloak next turn.
Right, big brain moves there from Riley, and it's going to net him the first.
哇！呢個騎士好舒服喎，咩鬼嘢事？
Game one between these players, so the momentum has been swinging both ways back and forth, but you just see.
我覺得可以唔殺含手包都 OK 嘅，佢想追進化咗嘅能量去追殺，我覺得 OK 嘅呢個係。
Attackers that can do so much damage, and they're accelerated pretty much for free by the Gardevoir EX.
佢個場都幾靚，所以我覺得唔殺前面都 OK 嘅。
We're doing something.
我反而覺得調翻轉，佢填能量比沙羅多填嗰粒係惡 N 定超 N， 我睇唔清楚。佢本身唔係有粒惡 N 嘅咩？應該可以填俾佢手上面另外一隻馬騮，定係嗰粒係超 N 嚟？我睇錯咗。如果係惡 N， 我覺得奇怪，點解會填俾沙羅多？睇錯咗。
One of those ghosty boys, but it was the Dusknoir, not the Dusclops this time around. That is the recon directive there for Justin. Usually you want to have a bunch of these out, but we already know that's unfortunate.
Is this the time? Is it time for the Hilda?
Oh.
Thanks for the help, Riley. This is going to work out just fine.
Let's go, the Hilda that was added. Riley said,
我就覺得有啲奇怪，點解唔揀填俾隻馬騮？
energy, but it's not just any regular energy. Look at that. We're talking about pink cards. That is one that you want to see as a
右邊有
Dragon
顯示
player.，
係喎，即係有喎，細心啊！黑色 N， 我覺得奇怪，點解唔填俾手入面好似仲有另一隻馬騮？
To deal 200 damage, 60 to the bench and damage counters. And look at this, going with a strategy that's a little safer, but also gives you a chance. You see the Dracloak added to the hand, maybe you find Dusclops as well, and
再進化
hit double.
兩隻多龍旗 price up 唔緊要，用得晒。
Oh, was that two Professor's Research there, Kyle?
That's not much of a choice.
Nope, not at all. Easy choice, I guess. And for Justin, netting that card to hand off that second recon directive. Dragonpool EX already in the hand here, but Badu still remaining inactive. He's going to decide where he goes from here.
Still, you've established what you needed to. Double Dracloak means at least one of these Pokemon will stick around for the next turn. Dragapult and Neo Upper waiting for you.
佢填能量就係攞嚟準備撤退呢一下，佢知道自己冇辦法棄足夠嘅能量落霧，所以就留嚟做撤退呢個動作。
Yes, exactly. Earthen Vessel, the item card, unable to be utilized. Justin deciding what to do here and is opting to continue with this Badu strategy. One damage counter going onto this Gardevoir EX. Itchy Pollen is active. Item cards are gone still for Riley. But let's see if this hand
energy 嗎
Psychic energy?
Oh my god! 噏咗 energy! Oh my god!
Psychic energy not only means retreating, it means after the retreat, there's an energy in the discard pile for Psychic Embrace. You place that on the Monkey Dory, the damage is there. You can push that onto the Badu if you want to knock that out. You could line up all sorts of things. But I do want to knock out your cloak here for sure.
Yes, exactly. Limit
咪要
your
贏都係
opponent
要有
as
呢
much
啲
as。possible. We see the retreat here. Both those energy are going to go into the discard pile, but not for long.
又可以
as you
追
said,
殺
Kyle.
多
I
龍
mean,
旗
this
啦。
deck is just so strong here. Screamtail, of course, being promoted into the active position as well. Still has some damage on it there, but that damage just powers it up. It looks so cute, but it is scary here for TCG players.
Monkey Dory now, considerations. Maybe it's just that one counter again. It worked well last time, but you know you're staring down a problem. The Hilda was played. The cards are sitting there in hand. You will be dealing with Dragapult next turn.
Oh, yeah. We're deciding where to put this damage. Now here from the Adrenabrain on the Monkey Dory, it's flinging damage around. That's what these little Monkey Dory do
因
best.
為可能佢哋係咪決定咗要殺鬼鬼啦？調翻轉，見你起咗兩隻多龍旗，殺唔晒就不如殺鬼啦。
being wiped off the field as the choice. What do you think about that, Kyle?
Yeah, this is actually pretty interesting as we can see this incredible setup we have here in the arena. Once that dust falls,
救埋喺中間出嚟， 舒服。
as prominent. You can't do it. So when you target down this Pokemon, if it was boss's orders and you add a 50 and another 50, you could take this Pokemon right off the board, but it's not the case anymore. 300 damage, not available.
Protect the Gardevoir EX at all costs seems to be the mission so far here. Eliminating one of those Duskull is a part of that process. So that is what Riley's going to choose to do. Of course, that's another prize card taken for Riley, going down to 4 prize cards left to take.
會唔會揀自爆，然後再騎樹啦？咁樣炸開對面隻派，咪可能可以派死對面隻馬騮都唔錯嘅選擇。你會唔會咁揀呢？
Let's see what we can do with the rest of this hand. We still have supporter for the turn as well.
I mean, this is a Pokemon that has 320 hit points. It's ready to attack in. The back half of your attack will knock out a Screamtail if you use boss's orders. So do you want to target down a Pokemon like Monkey Dory in this spot? We know how important
炸埋先騎書，咁啊仲好啦。對面干擾程度再高啲。如果決定要殺馬騮嘅話。
Recon Directive netting us a card here. Iono and the Night Stretcher. Night Stretcher is going to go to the hands.
Yeah, with Night Stretcher, that just speaks to what Riley was thinking of with the Duskull down now. That option is not there. Double Curse Blast, taking out a Gardevoir, not in the cards this turn.
But at least the Duskull is being re-supported here onto the bench from that Night Stretcher, taking it out of the discard pile.
Justin
gust up this Gardevoir EX into the active position from that supporter in the boss's orders.
呢個想再罰企喎，希望你冇能量。如果再 top 咗能量，即係噴火。哇 ！Iono 救命啊！佢要乜有乜，換個6張新，換個4張新嘅。仲啱啱 prize 救埋嘅中間，又可以進化埋嘅中間。
Exactly, it's just a ticking time counter at this point here for Riley, and he's working through that.
哇！真係 Oh my God！ 如果佢呢下騎樹之後有超 N 嘅 Oh my God！
Well, that's going to help out a little bit here. Of course, Riley's going to take less cards off this Iono draw than Justin is, but maybe we need some different cards in the hands.
Well, there's a lot of potential here with Night Stretcher along with a Dusknoir. Would lead to the exact same situation. It's just the Curse Blasts are a little bit stronger this time around.
Energy 仲要係超 N 啊！救命啊！點頂得住一個咁順暢嘅沙來羅？
Psychic, I believe, so far. The other one's dark. You can only accelerate those psychic energy. One coming down onto the Gardevoir EX from the hands.
He's moving, which is exactly where he needed to be. Off 4 cards, it was a big risk, but he did find that. But now, where do you go? Screamtail has been your friend for a long time.
可以真係派死隻，可以派死隻含手爆咯。跟住而家射埋佢隻鬼鬼。
Screamtail is going to be the option here, brought into the active position. Heavily damaged, but still taking some names here. We have that damage being placed onto the Duskull.
佢派鬼佢哋打佢一中間鬼都 OK 嘅，咁都 OK 都 OK。
You could have moved, well, you moved the 3 there, but just taking damage off the Gardevoir always feels great. You need to protect this Pokemon because you know it's at risk if all the cards line up. And Riley moving swiftly through this opening game. 3 prize cards down already, and Justin on the back foot once more.
Exactly. Usually you're
哇！
wanting to
香港對面個 item lock 咧，好似完全冇搞過沙律朵咁。喺 item lock 底下，佢都仲可以預入無人之境。啊！唔使用 item 都起到呢個陣出嚟，真係好幸福。
to face off against Justin so far. Can Justin mount a comeback here though, Kyle?
He's looking for it. He has Monkey Dory. He's considering how much damage can be placed on the other side of the board, but with only 2 damage counters, not really targeting something like that Gardevoir just yet this turn.
但 Bryce 沙爾朵已經準備 call game， 即係有機會殺鬼龍派死。派死隻含羞包已經 call game。
The Gardevoir EX been protected this whole time thanks to that little monkey supporter on the bench as well. And it is strong. I mean, 310 HP total. That is brutal.
There's just a few cards to potentially even find in a spot.
補翻隻鬼俾你，偵察指令。
Finding more resources with Dracloaks is not available. Maybe an energy for that Monkey Dory so you can spread some more damage counters, but just missing on those really big attacks.
平衡時空底下借咪 MVP 啦。 哇！咁係完全 show 咗喺冇借咪下多龍影響。不過其實借咪都唔係容易攞出嚟嘅嘢，都係啲難揾嘅嘢，80血。
Slinging this damage back and forth, but Justin has just fallen on the back foot in comparison to Riley so far in that strategy. A major component of that, of course, is Dragapult EX. The Phantom Dive is what gives you the ability to accelerate that damage over to your opponent's field, and we haven't seen it yet. The Badoo strategy has been locking down the cards, throwing that in Riley's way, but he's just been able to work around it. And that's not even talking about all the other tricks up his sleeve to come into the Dragapult match in the future turns. But yeah, Riley has just been performing strongly so far in this game.
Just trying to find an answer. Ultra Ball looking for a little more help here, but there's just not that much that you can find. The damage doesn't line up for the knockouts that you desire. Finding the space for a Dusclops and the Hawlucha, you can do it, but you're not taking that big KO.
Well, we're going to see the Ultra Ball here now going back into the deck, having to make some difficult decisions in what to discard to it. One of those cards being the Jamming Tower.
Oh, is there a world where you can use Dusclops and the Blood Moon Ursaluna to try to target down something it's a lot to ask for, but with the 240 that you have to reach, maybe there's a world Riley would be down to 2 prize cards post Curse Blast.
Boom, you gotta win. Potentially.
Boom, you got a boom.
Yeah, boom, there's some sort of boom happening. And Justin is going through these options right now. I mean, look, it is difficult here as you see him pacing back and forth between the hand, the deck, Blood Moon, Ursa Luna is going to be the option here off of the Ultra Ball coming out for Justin.
Yeah, Hilda finds the energy that you're looking for. You have the Dusclops. There might be a counter catcher to go along with this. This could be bye-bye Gardevoir.
Ooh, well, Hilda, yep, is coming
有啲慘喎，佢輕乜都冇，又好似冇反槍，佢直接向前平 A 就執嘢咯，對面吊商加皮皮收工喎。
300, you're just a little short. You'd have to include Monkey Dory in that. You don't have the energy for it. It's not all there.
Energy 加進化大鬼。
Energy is the energy picked off of the Hilda card here, but can Justin put this together? I don't know, Kyle. Oof.
Yeah, the energies, that's just really speaking to how important that's been for Riley to find the right spot, because anytime counter catchers use, Gardevoir just bails him out.
Well, the Dusclops is being evolved from that Duskull on the bench. Now here for Justin.
我覺得呢個位抌左外之塔其實都 OK 嘅啦，其實個左外之塔你都係淨係阻佢啲有反擊槍都還好喎。
Okay, so with the math there, you've got 5 damage counters to work with the Dusknoir, 2 from the Monkey Dory, pushing up to 80 on a Gardevoir. You're short.
Yeah, pairing it with the counter catcher, you wish to have a
much stronger knockout
here, but we're still deciding where to put this damage. Is this a part of the long con here for Justin? Dragapult EX is going to
look at that.
有皮皮。
Lily's Clefairy with the Fairy Zone. That'll be plenty to give the weakness.
哎呀，好誇張啊！埃塔落底下女王都如有無人之境㗎。首先係佢第一 round 個騎樹，佢都可以起得晒女王啦，又敲叫尾啦，跟住哇之後又有 energy， 又將個騎樹又係 N 再加呢個。 再加呢個又係皮皮，哇搞不掂。女王先贏一個 game one， 會唔會好似啱啱位觀眾話齋波三兄啊嘛？ 我話係2-0直落，仲剩30分鐘，早啲完場都好，可以俾我早啲休息下，都攰了。
Yeah, it started off pretty strong for Justin until he looked through his deck, saw the double Dracloak was prized, but it did not stop him there. He worked through, found a Dracloak, and started to apply some little pressure with the Itchy Pollen. However, Riley had the answer. Every time a Pokemon was moved by way of boss's orders, counter catcher, he found the energies and moved them perfectly. Had Monkey Dory to place damage over and take the perfect
係啊 ，Game 2多龍會唔會再次陷入 Price 2個多龍期呢？
The issues in the wave thrown at him by Justin. It just kept going. He got the energy needed. He was able to apply that pressure, and that is what led to the consistent taking of these prize cards here for Riley. And that was just beautiful. I mean, Riley still had a lot in his way, and he was able to come out on top here. But I don't want to count out either of these decks. They both have tricks up their sleeve. We've talked about the stadiums that could potentially shut down key pieces in these matchups before. And I mean, if that Badoo sticks a little harder, if Riley didn't get into the energy needed, all of those things could have changed in an instant, Kyle. So everything is still not over yet. You cannot count Justin out just yet because he has the skill. He has an extremely powerful deck. We just need to see the Pokemon luck on his side as well. Let's give a big round of applause for both of these players after completing that first match here. We're gonna head into our game 2, but let's show him some love. What a big crowd here that we have, Kyle.
Yeah.
We got to shoot some t-shirts at him earlier.
Yep, the cannons were firing, and so are our players as they are ready to give us more Pokemon TCG action. We're moving into game number 2 and the prize cards coming down.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about cannons. What about little Dreepy cannons? Dragapult EX, I mean, what a cool Pokemon there. He's big, he's awesome. Gardevoir, of course, as well. But, you know, who's going to come out on top? Which deck is going to win? Which player is going to take the title here? We're kicking off our game 2 in our Masters final here in Anaheim.
啱啱出玩到退標。 以前都有啲超係咁喎，以前隻超夢 VMAX 都係咁喎，隻超夢 VMAX 由佢出道打到佢退環境嗰個人。
Pretty good, and so is Nestball in this opener. Not terrible prize cards as you see for Riley. Can work with that. I think we saw a little bit of help there in the hand, maybe an ultra ball to go along with this. So.
女王嗰邊個 prize 就正正常常啦 ，OK 啦，冇乜特別。
Sensation to feel is when you're in such a high stakes
我隻瞄出嚟睇呢個 hand 係咪唔係咁好啊？係咪要瞄去裝牌？
Today for Riley, we're getting some cards down. The Nestball is going to bring out this Mew EX. This is also a card we have not got to showcase yet for this deck. How important is this card here for Riley, especially in this matchup, Kyle?
Yeah, it can be really helpful with drawing out of some of those situations in the early stage of the game. And occasionally, you do see a genome hacking.
Yes,
it's a pretty solid attack that you can incorporate, surprise your opponent, and take a big knockout with Phantom Dive. If you combine that with a Lily's Clefairy, you're taking the KO on a Dragapult and probably knocking out something on the bench for 3 prize cards.
I mean, the Dreepy Cannon's firing on all cylinders, but nope. Mew EX is just hacking the system over there. I mean, we could potentially see that. It is a major play that Riley can utilize in this matchup. But we're going to continue to look through the deck here for Riley as he tries to scope out what is in his
新嗰隻沙又唔同啲嘅，新嗰隻 Mega 沙同呢隻上 N 嘅沙來朵又唔同。
A little bit of that versatility if there were to be knockouts happening from a more aggressive Justin.
但我想講新嘅 Mega 沙張 SAR 真係好靚，唉，抽唔到，點解會抽唔到？要宣傳一下前排去日本抽散包，乜都唔中。咁啊，我 channel 已經 upload 咗 Day1 查車實錄。咁啊，應該聽日會 upload 埋 Day2 同 Day3 嘅查車實錄，希望大家多多支持下。見我炒車炒得咁慘，俾個 like 都好啊！
He had the plan every turn, and Riley just had the perfect answer. So if the energy isn't found, if Secret Box doesn't throw away multiple psychic energy, it's a completely different game because you cannot move. like we saw in the opener. And right now, we're seeing discards and we're not seeing psychic
黑
energies.
波
Right, it's
咁
a
啊
huge change of pace so
攞
far
多
in
隻
this game too
女
between
王
these
底啦。
players. Riley was able
而
to
家
get
手上
that
面啲 item 啊
early
揈得好揈
aggression
啦，
as far as
咁啊
getting
陣間
this
俾人
energy
item
into
lock 到
discard
揈唔到
pile
㗎啦。
for the future attacks, but this time around might be a little bit slower here. We are
揸
going to
啲
see, of
卡
course,
全
that
部都
important
靚。
Ralts out onto the field now for Riley as we continue with this setup. But is it going to pair with anything else here? Of course, Riley going first does not have the ability to
And-
play a supporter, is going to have that
啲
energy
畫師
attachment
有
on that
愛
monkey
嘅
door. He also cannot
係
attack
真啊！
that technical machine devolution there
好
off of the restart
隻喵捉完係都係喐唔到。不過好彩嘅就係佢有進化啦，有碟，咁下 round 佢進中間，跟住再用隻演進碟，再可以 upgrade 到上去，都叫有少少有啲嘢做，同埋有兩張消耗到嘅卡，下 round 隻喵可以再 draw 到喎，都算係咁啦。
I just need to get set up first.
Right. Let's just worry about the
噴
basics
火都係
here.
一直
As
係
speaking
一
of
直
basics, there's a
威
couple
嘅
of
係
prize cards, but
而家
hey,
未
this
惡
is
噴
much
嘅，
more
以
appealing
前
than what we
即係
saw
就
in
Pet
our
Team
game
嗰隻
one
噴火都係好
here for
勁
Justin.
嘅，一直
Yeah,
威。
just one Ralts on the other side to stare at as you build up your board. And it's only one copy of each of these Pokemon. You play very heavy lines so that you can find the right resources. This is only one of the decks that has 2 Duskull. We've seen some players moving over to with like a 3-2-1. So be on the lookout for that.
都有部分
At the bottom of the prizes.
今次終於冇卡得咁
Usually
凄
our
涼啦。
players draw the prize cards
都
from
還好啦。
the bottom to the top. Not
呢
always.
個 prize
Finland, I guess, does a little bit differently. Shout out to Finland. But
China too.
Oh, yes, that's true. But this time around, Justin could have the ability to get into that Duskull later since it is at the bottom of the prize cards. Buddy Poppin gonna feed these Dreepy, hop them out onto the field here for Justin as we continue into this game too.
V 世代冇噴，噴火龍 V Max 係真係太弱。
Relatively established here for both
喺嗰個 V
players as
Max
Justin
就冇
maps
噴
out。what is in the prize cards, takes note of that. Every single resource
噴火龍 V Max 好似真係冇打起過上嚟喎，諗緊啲先，有冇一副有用過噴火龍 V Max 嘅？好似真係冇。B Star 噴火龍都係用唔到嘅卡。
Expect to see on turn 1. Maybe you'd like to see a little more help, but finding that energy, finding that your cloak, establishing these when you're
哇！如果出 Mega 噴啊，即係又要準備炒上天啊 Mega 噴。
going to see some evolutions next turn from these Dreepies.
佢仲可以出兩款 Mega 噴 ，Mega Y、Mega X。
Find the big guy.
Yes, and I mean, Badu is a fantastic part of that strategy as we've already seen. So he's definitely aiding in the support of this team here for Justin. The new upper energy coming down onto the GP for the energy attachment for the turn. That's going to Itchy Paula. What do we see?
Top tech research to go along with this.
Okay, remember Professor Research? What the hell？ 本身個 hand dead 到裂開，哇！真係天選啊！喺個 dead 行唔到嘅時候 ，Top Professor， 哦救命！ 哇！如果呢個俾佢鋪多隻底嘅，哇有 Stadium 鋪多隻底 ，Oh my God！ 哇！
Okay, but I haven't seen a psychic energy, and that's what really separates the Guardy players. If you're really Guardian it up, you need psychics in the discard soon.
Yes, and yeah,
我睇咗啲咩係啦，大佬。
from Riley, and we need to see how it's going to happen as well. Maybe the cards
哇！
align in
救
these
命
future
啊！
turns, but
呢個
really
運
the
氣唔係
question
講
is,
玩。
are the cards going to align in time before Justin takes too much prominence
單
here
地
in
噴
this
係
match
好
in
玩
our
嘅，
game
但係
two and just
唔係好
overruns
夠
Riley's deck.
T1 嘅
We
狀
see
態。
Curlia and Ralts the targets here, both evolutions.
救命啊！
TM evolution.
女王真係好有運啊！
Here.
Great.
So Riley may not have the psychic energies, but he has the setup.
I mean, Gardevoir EX, we love to see it down on the field now. Curlia
唉，
as
真係
well. Riley
真係阿
is
媽都識
stepping
玩
up.
系
We
列
just。need everything to align
哇！
here for the
好
future
舒服啊！
turns.
如果我通常都係咁，一喺我卡緊嘅時候，哇 ！Top deck 一張行到係卡嗰個喜悅嘅感覺，然後嗰7張都仲要好好，仲可以再鋪到隻底。
Maybe one Iona next turn instead of the professor's research because this hand
Okay, I
was
don't
still
know.
held on to for Justin. Double Dracloak, and now he's
好
going
啦，
to use the Iona.
呢個騎士會唔會幫到對面咧？
New hand to work with, and
哇！對面會唔會一堆 energy 加 Professor 就一嘢車晒啲超 N 落去，跟住 Professor 又揾到啲攻擊手出嚟射佢啲多龍。
have that Dragapult in your hand. Maybe we build something pretty prominent here.
I mean, Recon Directive is one way to get there as we're going through these abilities on the bench.
係啊 ，item lock lock 完都係咁嘅，唉。佢唯一 lock 咗就係對面抌唔到啲 energy 咯，係真嘅，佢啲 energy 冇抌到咯。但係如果佢陣間啲嗰啲騎士完之後，哇 professor 加一堆 energy 喎，佢一嘢車晒啲超 N， 真係黐鬼線。劉明睇下會唔會有黐鬼線畫面睇。
Badoo basically lines up another free turn of protection, but he values the setup of Dreepy, another Dracloak on board, maybe the Duskull to go along with this. This is exactly where you want to be.
Badoo didn't get us far enough in the game one, so here we go. We're gonna line
都
up some
未
other
未
options.
完嘅，
Justin
未完
Duskull
嘅。
coming down now
阿多龍
onto the
選手
field.
未完晒嘅，都仲可以打下先嘅。
Here, but that Badoo still in the active position for Justin, so it's still going to carry out the same strategy we're seeing. We're eyeing up these essential turns for the future. What are those turns going to look like? Let's talk about the prize mapping here between our players. What does it look like, Kyle?
Well, for Justin, the ideal strategy with double Duskull is no longer there. If you want to use the Dusclops to remove the Gardevoir from play, can't really do that in one fell swoop, so maybe you target down different pieces. You could take out early if you spread the damage the right way, but it just isn't perfect. But similarly on Riley's side, he has nowhere to go.
都唔係都要 lock 嘅，咁 lock 係都有影響嘅，因為你都要 lock 佢，等佢唔好用嗰啲 item 咁輕鬆。佢如果唔 lock 佢啱啱 professor 啲 hand 仲舒服喎，仲可以氣 N 落去。佢而家起碼氣能量嘅動作係差咗嘅，同埋你都係幻想個 item lock 對面點都受啲干擾，即係冇諗過對面 item lock 底下都行得咁鬼誇張嘅順暢。
For Justin, so that really could also change the pace of things too. These damage counters start going over to the field, and then they're able to be amplified from the Monkey Dory later on. Luminous Energy joining us with that Dracloak being powered up for Justin too. The Badoo lock
有冇機會可以氣能量落去咧？佢要諗喎，睇嚟冇咁順暢咯喎。
Oh, we see one Psychic Energy, a Dark Energy along with this, but there's no supporter to go with this hand. He's just about to place it down and consider his options.
有一啲能量，但係冇draw support 嗰類。
Brutal here. I mean, there's a couple of things TCG players could do. They can attach an energy for turn. They can play one supporter. They can retreat. They can attack. But if you don't have the supporter, how are you supposed to help out your hand? How are you supposed to help out your gameplay? So that is difficult there for Riley. But Artisan gonna be shuffled up now from this deck. What did he grab, Kyle? I didn't see it.
I don't know if anything happened there, but you have the Monkey Dory. He just put it in the hand on the table.
Okay, got you.
Probably do that.
It's coming down. It's coming down. There we go.
But with this one Psychic Energy, are a bit awkward. You need to play this as your attachment for the turn, and then you have it for Psychic Embrace, but you don't get a Dark Energy on your Monkey Dory now.
Right, exactly. It's used for the retreat. Now it's in the discard pile. That's one step closer, but now we're just stuck with another monkey in the active here, passing back over to Justin. This truly could be what Justin needs here to eye up these major turns
多返啲時間，可唔可以趁呢段時間起到晒啲鬼鬼咧？
Dragapult EX and Justin is getting there as these cards are netted back to back to the hand off these recon directives. What are you seeing, Kyle?
Oh yeah, it's starting to cook over here. There's another Dracloak. There's energy to go along with it. Boss's orders too. You're just looking for a little more help. There's a Dusknoir to go along with this. If you can set up again to have that Dusclops in play and have it stick around for a turn, then you have Dusknoir in combination with the boss's orders. You take down the Gardevoir in one fell swoop. That would be devastating.
Dusknoir is huge. Cursed Blast, 13 damage counters. It is so powerful. And Justin being able to have that.
仲有8分鐘佢，我覺得唔係喎，有機會8分鐘打唔晒喎。我覺得而家多龍未輸嘅呢邊，有機會。 仲有得打喎，仲有得打，仲有得打，所以仲有偈傾，仲有角球啊，未完。好，用鬥志。
Yeah, and Hilda being played once again for Justin here. Feels like there's so many of these in the deck, huh?
Yeah, maybe someone's to blame. Could be the $20,000 Hilda if it works out in his favor.
Right, exactly. There's so much on the line here between these players, but they are not letting up. I mean, they're locked in on this match. Hilda gonna search out to this evolution in the Dusclops, in that psychic energy as well, coming out onto the field for Justin.
He's being so safe. We see the luminous energy on the Dracloak as opposed to the Monkey Dory. Wants to have multiple attackers if there was a bad thing on the other side. If Riley off the Iono had triple psychic energy professor's research into a Scream Tail, he was prepared with another attacker ready to go. Instead, he has the energy here for another Dracloak. He has the Dusclops. He's waiting one more turn. If he can make it happen, we are not going to see Gardevoir on that side of the table.
Yeah, the safety nets have been put in place here as we continue forward. The Badoo
佢可以掉晒啲Dam 過去 lock 咗佢隻呢個 item lock 啦嘅行手包，佢 hand 唔係太喐到，會唔會揀咁嘅方案去？
The one piece that's missing for Justin is he has no way to remove Curlia.
上一個特性，然後可以掉 DM 過去佢隻行手包度。
So Monkey Dory is not helping out. It's another pass of the turn. He's just waiting to see what is in on the other side from Riley, and Riley's content. He's going to pass over the turn and say, if you can make this work, great, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, it's not there yet. Can you get there? It's going to be all up to Justin here. At least that dark energy was attached to that Monkey Dory there from Riley. Justin now going through these recon directive here. I saw the Blood Moon Ursaluna as one of the options. Looks like that is going to be what's going to the hand here.
And if you're wondering on Justin's side, why he's so defensive, why is he worrying? It's because of that Lily's Clefairy that he saw in that other game. You know that you're walking into a knockout. 320 hit points is nothing when you're dealing with the weakness on the other side. So you have to make sure that when you attack, it is for all the marbles.
Right, you need to have multiple attackers set up, multiple strategies to carry out the end game here.
不能撤退，佢總會夠能量嘅。佢有一個能量起冇，就點都夠嘅。所以佢可以上完 N 跟住吊死，然後不能撤退，佢點都夠能嘅。
We talk about the bear trap all the time on the Blood Moon Ursaluna, but there's a fairy trap out there, and it's looming on Riley's side. So Justin is going to continue.
不過佢唔想落後都係真嘅，佢落後會幫對面有太多嘅動作可以做到。但對面都可以主動落後，佢都係隻鬼鬼。
What would be enough in this spot? Is it
Trouble.
Dusknoir? Is it Dragapult? Is it Iono in combination with Counter Catcher? Do you feel comfortable leaving your opponent with just 5 cards and a Curlia? Or do you want to wait a little longer?
我要考慮下直接殺女王都得啦。
It might be time here. I mean, we saw what happened last time. The Duskull evolved into the Dusclops. He got wiped off the field. We were never able to Cursed Blast here, but this time around, Dusknoir is here for Justin. It's whether or not he chooses to use it, get those hit points out, try to take some sort of momentum here.
好，我哋睇下佢會點樣進攻啊
Cursed Blast is such a cool move.
冇兩隻鬼啊，爭少少，好俾面唔射佢，冇計啊，起唔到 N 啊，邊有可能好似啱啱咁樣一你係起咗2個 N 嘅字啊？ 好，進化到啦。好，呢個 energy。我覺得仲有得打呢場未完啊。第30分鐘分唔到勝負，有機會呢場贏都仲開 Game 3添。不過 Game 3嘅時間就好勉強，因為呢兩副都係咁慢一啲。
The fairy trap, the bear trap. And then you have Iono to go along with it on the following turn. You're just looking for a
OK， 有老大的指令可以捉。
Exactly. I mean,
佢會捉邊隻出嚟咧
Justin has set up. His brain is piloting this deck. It's becoming a flawless
捉
position
女
for him
王
to
出
be in here.
嚟，
Boss's orders bringing up this Gardevoir EX now for Justin. We're swinging here. Dragapult EX now up in the active position, fully powered up thanks to that A-Spec card attached as well. We're going to see the swing, the Phantom Dive, and the damage on that Kirlia as well.
But look at this, you're not using the Dusknoir here. Wants to hold on to that damage. There are 2 Monkey Dory on the other side. Damage can shift over, so it's a bit of a risk to see the damage laying there already, but you do see that for Riley, he still has Gardevoir in play. And he has items now. This could get wild.
Yes, I'm ready to see the pop-off here. Can Riley mount the comeback? Because now we have items. I didn't get to see what the hand we were working with is.
我而家用得 item 啦，終於可以將啲 energy 起落冇啦。
6-card hand now with the top deck. He's moving through. We'll see more energies. Is there a supporter to go along with it? If you could discard all of these, we are talking trouble. And there's a research to go along with it.
Oh my
If there's ever a
god！
turn to not have item lock in
即
play,
係佢需要嘅時候就係要有 professor。
Beautiful here for Riley, netting these energy into the hand thanks to these earthen vessel and urn full of psychic energy as we see. Professors research the perfect supporter to discard the hand, draw 7 cards. That is going to get Riley the energy needed to carry out these attacks.
Oh, and Justin's just thinking,
我
I
望下
had
佢
you
咧
with
可
one
以
psychic energy in the discard
用隻
pile,
喵去
and
打
I
咧
this was the turn. I
跟
could put you in this spot.
嗌
Maybe your
死
hand
對
isn't
面隻
strong enough,
多
and
龍
it is
旗
one
嗰
of the
度，
best hands to see here.
傻鬼嗰
Plenty
game。
of energies to fly through. We know that there's some resources that can be drawn into that can close things out, at least on this Dragapult, and it starts with the Lily's Clefairy.
Yes, absolutely. 7 cards we're about to see here for Riley.
Pink guide. Is it the right one?
有冇皮皮？
Still
皮
looking
皮？
one last card.
Oh my gosh, playing it close to the chest here. Riley trying to give us a show. But yeah, I am just not seeing it here, Kyle.
Well, there's a scream tail to
冇
go
咁
along
順
with
暢
this,
啊
but
嘛！
you're
即
not
係日日都
taking
過
out
年喎，
the
呢個
main
時候再中埋
threats.
皮皮，真係唔係好想
We
玩
know
game。
there's Monkey Dory damage, so still a lot to
如果冇
consider.
嘅話，係咪
Artisan is the play.
調轉要攞烤叫尾出嚟打？
Artisan being used now to bring out one of these Pokemon onto the field for Riley. It's just unfortunate having to take a little bit of a step back here. I mean, but think about this, Kyle. This is what we're seeing now from Riley. Coming up slightly short here, but he was locked on items that whole time. Imagine if you could just play your whole deck. I mean, this deck is insane here that Riley is piloting. You see why it has made it into our finals. And we'll see if Riley's able to take it to the top. Get a 2-0 here. There's a lot against him, but he's not out yet.
Yeah, how do you complain with 5 Psychic in the discard pile? I guess it's because you don't have Lily's Clefairy. There is Screamtail. You can hit
How kill
for
me?
a fairly large amount, but you're not taking out this Dragapult with this type of board.
Right, and it's scary. You know, you have a lot of damage there. You don't want to give your opponent any sort of multi-prize knockout turn, but look how much damage has already mounted there for Riley on the right side of the field. Screamtail going to join us in the active position.
And what do we do here at this point? Yes, you have some damage you can move with the Monkey Dories, shift over, but what separates you from having
而家睇下要點樣派走嗰
on
60
board
箱，
and not
同
playing
埋
in the
點
game?
樣
It's this situation. How do you manipulate the damage counters?
落
Because we
歐
don't
啦？
see another Gardevoir
而家可以
to
打到120，
Some math here, Kyle. Your
去追
specialty.
佢啲多龍旗。
Uh-oh. What are we doing
咁
here?
啊，
Of
仲
course,
有
that Screamtail taking
馬
the
騮60
damage
箱可以
from
搬
the
翻
psychic
過去。
embrace ability on the Gardevoir EX to apply that damage there, making it so that it powers up its attack, and we're going to see some
決定
damage on this Dusknoir. What do you think
殺
about that? Now it stayed into play,
呢
and
個
now
大
it is
鬼緊要
here
啲，唔
getting
想
damage
俾你
stacked
炸
all
到我
over.
啲
Kyle, what do you
嘢。
think?
Yep, once again, this is just a
Okay.
same situation. Justin sets
辛
up
辛
for
苦
a
苦養出嚟
checkmate
嘅大
in
鬼，
hopes that it exists, and next
又
turn
可以烤
it
叫尾嘅
dissipates. We
攻
see
擊
the
下落歐
Dusknoir
啦。
hit the discard pile, not on its own accord.
Right.
No Curse Blast this time, and this saves the setup. Curlia, free. It has 80 hit points still. It is very hard to take this Pokemon off the board. Halucha damage and spreading around. You just don't have the resources to take out 80.
I mean, those ghost Pokemon help out so much here for Justin, but you see the Dusknoir was wiped away. There's no Duskull there. We're not going to see any extra damage. And is that just going to be what truly turns the tides of this game? Is it not going to be able to be enough damage aligned, or is Justin going to still be able to close things out with how much damage on board? What do you think, Kyle? How's the prize map looking now?
Rough. Depends on where you're looking from, but this is the spot that Riley really wanted to be in. Not only do you remove that automatic threat of Gardevoir and Kirlia being knocked out, but you have multiple energies still in the discard pile. Counter catcher, boss's orders, anything to stall at this point and slow things down doesn't really help out. The one thing I could think of is maybe attacking headbutt into a Gardevoir and putting a little damage on there so that it would be knocked out by Psychic Embrace, but that can't happen. So you'd force the energy from the hand instead.
Oh my gosh, I mean, it is getting intricate in here as Justin continues to navigate through this turn and debate those options. Ultra Ball coming down here to get another Pokemon out.
Yeah, I mean, even that doesn't work with Monkey Dory. You're just protected from every situation. Push the damage over, then retreat. It's where do you go from here? You're not taking the big KOs, but you're still around. And for Justin, he's only down one prize card. He's got so much damage on the board, and we're talking like he's out of this right now. He's still got plenty of plays to do.
Absolutely, and Justin, I'm sure is seeing those plays. He's a phenomenal player, has been training since he was very young in the trading card game, has made it to our Masters final stage, and is going to put up a fight here. So Latias EX was drawn out from that Ultra Ball to thin out of the deck. Buddy Poffin as well. Coming down for Justin.
如果有皮皮夢夢就梗係都係一個好嘅選擇啦。不過問題係佢冇皮皮啊嘛，當刻佢抽唔到皮皮，所以佢用唔到皮皮夢夢呢一個打法。如果有皮皮夢夢嘅，梗係用皮皮夢夢。但係冇就佢要諗下用其他。再次起鬼，不過佢呢個起鬼等於都係送 prize， 佢好容易派到啲60箱出嚟。
So Justin's going to get a fresh set of 6 cards, Riley 5 over on the other side. What do we need to see here, Kyle?
Oh, you don't have a great answer to anything just yet, but you're down a prize, so Counter Catcher seems like a great card to find. You could take a big knockout on something like that Gardevoir, remove the Scream Tail, which is a big threat, and then just force your opponent to have Gardevoir itself or the Night Stretcher. And we haven't seen it all just yet.
Well, but what we have seen is Justin leaving these opportunities open and then Riley just taking them down. I mean, it is scary here for Justin to be able to leave anything up for grabs for Riley, but hey, we're going through these recon directives. We're trying to still get there, start taking some prize cards, take the win, but first we have to build up a little bit more, and all of that is just because of the sheer power of Riley's deck.
呢拳都唔想嘥落打落隻皮度。
This massive 320 hit point Pokemon.
Stadium.
You see that tech inclusion. It is a 1/2 of
it.冇反擊槍
Tower to take over the stadium here now. It will lock out all of those other tool cards.
Yes, exactly. The items are locked, the tool cards are separate, but now they're locked as well. We don't really see any tool cards out there yet, but that card could be a major inclusion sometimes in this matchup here for Justin. We'll have to see if it comes into play in the future of this game. But first, Luminous Energy. That's going to apply the Dark on this Monkey Dory, so we can start flinging some stuff back in the future, of course, once it hits the board. I mean, the monkey is just such a meme in the TCG. It flings so much damage.
最後尾冇反擊槍都被逼佢向前落勾㗎啦，然後再俾60箱俾後面隻李王一進。
Consider what could have been if the cards did line up here for Justin. Taking a knockout on something like Gardevoir and not having to just place 60 damage on Kirlia that could just be pushed right back over. It could be a completely different story. Are the resources there right now
好再大啲
for the
勇氣
Lily Sclefairy? We see the Earthen Vessel for the Psychic Energy, and I believe Ultra Ball is in the hand to go along with this. There's a knockout lined up.
I am scared here. We're about to see the full potential of why Gardevoir has the answers.
Oh, hold up. We're in for the big
哦，有啦，
genome hacking
終於
knockout is
有
lined up too. The
皮皮出
Duskull
場。
could be taken off the board in combination with
哦，
this.
仲可以進化埋沙萊朵，好舒服，又唔使怕自己隻女王一進得翻咁少 HP 點算？仲有埋隻 EX 可以進化投降，直接投降佢知道自己玩唔到。哦哦，追唔到啦，直接投降。真係學佢賽前話齋啊！雖然佢副 deadlift 少少改變，但係應該都唔影響到呢個勝負，即係勝利宣言。恭喜恭喜恭喜！女王獲勝。Camman 可唔可以播啲我想睇嘅嘢？唔該。Soon Come on。
As I said, I mean, it's a title that's going to last for a lifetime. The rest of his life, I mean, 20 world championships we've had, and here is the winner.
冠軍全部冷靜。
Riley McKay.
係啊。
Soak it in, soak it in.
唔止單炸啦，佢嗰隻嘢，佢隻炸彈都會消失嘅。佢又有吊傷，又有派傷嘅炸彈都係消失，所以係冇炸，應該又完全唔夠打嘅。佢個 Camman 可唔可以酸一酸下我想睇嘅嘢啊？
I mean, this was something else. We'll go straight.
好啦，我唔睇個頒獎啦，因為順到傻啊！女王真係好順暢，喺任何卡嘅時候都會邊降 support 下幫到佢。咁啊，罰企又罰唔到，有 energy 有 energy， 咁都冇計。本身都唔係啊，好打係咩罰對對面咁順暢就更加係。
The knockout from Monkey Dory pushing over the damage. The Screamtail takes his Pokemon off the board, and as he sets up for the perfect play, finds Iono, looks for counter catcher, wants to at least
佢呢下攞4 prize 咧，多羅嗰邊剩低隻30血嘅含收包喺度咧，呢個女王零手牌都贏，所以冇計。
Genome hacking along with Monkey Dory, it's going to take a lot of prize cards. It was enough, and we see the concession.
好啦，我唔睇埋個頒獎啦，因為都攰啦。都多謝大家陪我一齊睇個決賽啦。咁啊，直播咗3日。咁啊，雖然今次直播狀態冇咁好嘅，中間有嘢做，所以 day 2 day 3都幾攰下。咁啊，都多謝大家陪伴啦。咁啊，希望有機會喺其他活動再直播俾大家睇。珍惜廣東話嘅賽評，因為官方活動應該都係講普通話啦。TC 仲有機會講廣東話嘅賽評，睇下年尾啦，預告一下年尾會除咗卡界大戰之外，應該都會有一個好大型嘅活動。咁啊，係咯，都會有直播睇，希望大家多多支持，多多留意咁啊，係咯，都支持埋 TC 好飛嘅日本開箱片啊！因為今日夜晚同聽日都會 upload 埋 day 2 day 3嘅炒車實錄。好，咁我哋之後有機會再見啦，大家早安啊！大家夠鐘翻工啦，好，拜拜。